that call-out built for this team.
Yeah, they have the champion mindset. The one ingredient that FaZe has that other teams don't have. They never give up. They always believe they can do it. DZ is that one team for NA. Now, as we go into the map, we're going to see the first bans. And obviously, like I said, I felt like Lair was a surprise pick for FURIA. Last time played it, they lost it to GK. DZ have looked good on the map, and we're going to see what we expect to see on the side of DZ. Some target bans, and for FURIA, getting rid of all denial.
And that's something to note when it comes to DZ, especially when it comes to their maps and their operator bans, is they target operators. They target the opposing team. They don't play into their default. They're getting rid of the information game, and we know how Solid Snake can be utilized, especially talking about how aggressive the side of Fear is. You take away that little bit of information, they're going to have to work a little harder. Now you got another piece of information away. That vertical play is not going to be as easy with Deimos being removed. They're going to have to get a lot of information for a buck that possibly is going to be used. Go for that vertical pressure, but already I like they're targeting the aggressive style from FURIA.
Get rid of Deimos, get rid of Solid Snake. It's going to be way harder to remove any roamers. On their side, FURIA, they removed the two wall denial operators in Kaid and Bandit. They want to get those walls open as much as possible, as quickly as possible.
FURIA 2-0'd their last matchup on versus Wildcard. They're trying to get off to a strong start here as well. And the drums, if they're any indication of the fans, or maybe the heartbeats of FURIA, they are ready to go. It's time here in Paris for our Lenovo Legion Gauntlet to kick off the semifinals for R6 Siege. And for that, let's send it over to Dev and Pengu.
Thank you very much, Rain Day. A brief moment of quiet from the drums as DarkZero close their eyes and get ready for what could be the moment that they book their tickets into their second grand final in a row.
Exactly, and like the Dev said, right, chasing that third and final trophy, the Major, the EWC, and the SI for our player light fours. That'll be history in the making.
Same as well for Herds on the other side. Loira from FURIA was here in a grand final just a year ago at the Esports World Cup in Riyadh. Could he book himself another spot, another chance? We also have players from both of these teams that actually played 3 years ago in the G8 final as well, the spiritual predecessor to this tournament. It is a huge moment now for FURIA to conquer the North American major champions from just 3 months ago. While DarkZero raised the trophy in Salt Lake City, it will be another task entirely before them today to conquer the furious FURIA.
We're seeing the operator ban selection as well, right? It's all about the lethality of FURIA. So you target ban the Solid Snake, the Deimos as well, because DC know this isn't necessarily yet a great team of FURIA. It is 5 great individual players that have recently come together, and they will only get stronger and stronger with time. So right now it's about respecting the individuals, forcing gunfights in favor of DC, and weakening the stardom that players, pretty much anybody from FURIA can bring to the table. So I love DC's prep work going into this. No surprise, they have really good prep work generally speaking, but I think this is the 2 most influential operator bans that they can bring here in the first map.
DZ won their quarterfinal against Weibo off of strategy. They really outbrained Weibo. Yeah. They mounted that pressure, and in the crux of those tense moments, Weibo could not hold their nerve. In that 1 versus 1 on match point or overtime point, Hoven bottled it. He missed his chance. DarkZero on the flip side, they are the epitome of keeping cool. As they look to do that on the defense, J9O kicks things off with a fiery start onto Boxera. The Flores going down. We saw an early spawn pick out of J9O. Now aggression here from Volts. DZ want to take the fight to the Brazilians.
They see it right there, just goes straight out the main breach. Well read there from Hertz to expecting the window flying from the sky bridge with the smoke and it being tossed in. Full says, evacuate, do not commit to the player, cannot support you in that 2v1 gunfight. And I'm curious at DC, will it try and outfrag and outperform FURIA or play that layer, the strategy, force them to problem solve instead? Well, for the first round, a bit of both. They got the opening pick, they won the battle. And now strategically, they're locking them for doing the next step, going for a puzzle. There's very risky business. Volts finds Hertz, leaving just the BB of Volts, who might get that shield with the grenade. But I think I would say here, the damage is done. They found 2 kills.
Well and truly, Volts is more than happy to lose his Clash shield. He's one of the most prolific Clash players at the moment in the game. Now FURIA, not typically used to fighting from behind, a very aggressive team, and they are the ones who have been aggressed upon by DarkZero on this defense. Kino continues to fall on back. Another smoke.
Was a small gap, a little pocket of air where he stays alive, doesn't take any bit of damage. That's good value there from Volps.
No one ready.
However, still fighting from a huge deficit. Now Kino tries to escape. He will do so safely. Crossfire on the bomb site for DZ. Furia might have whittled away at this defense, but they are still no closer to confirming a plan.
All about using Loira downstairs in a perfect rope, but right now he's actually going to be up above with the main push. Flashbang goes out. They do have 50 seconds. Loira could go beneath them or go back towards that main breach. Fultz doesn't have the shield on the Clash any longer, so it's down to just brutal gunfights here.
Will be brutal indeed. Diaz tries to use the Grim's Beast to assist him, but no, it won't even be a single kill here for Furia. A flawless round is a hell of a way to kick off the series for the reigning major champs. North America looking very good here in the semifinals.
I'm sure call out the coach of DC is saying, I love when a plan comes together. When a good plan is successful, when the prep work is accurate, and when we show just how dominant we can be on the main stage. And I think just DC's ability to control the pace in the very beginning round is such a statement, because I generally believe that at this tournament, especially from the teams left remaining, Furia might be the hardest team to control on the server. They are relentless. They are brutal when it comes to the fighting. We saw them against Wildcard in the quarterfinals. Wildcard, who's a very successful team at taking the right fights together, they are just dismantled by Furia effortlessly round after round.
Yeah, that's the thing. We talked a lot in the DZ versus Weibo game about how DarkZero are so good at those setups. They're so good at reading into their opponents, banning away the operators that their opponents need to crack through their setups, and then just sitting back and waiting, prevent that bunker from being broken. Now, Furia are one of those teams that doesn't necessarily need to outsmart you in terms of your setup. They can overwhelm you instead, because firepower is Furia's best strength. They haven't even found a single kill yet in that first round. So a little bit of a temperature check here. DZ are looking to play a little bit more of an aggressive game on defense than we saw from their quarterfinal.
Double shield glass to kick off the second round on the tertiary bomb site, no less. There's a case where you go, do you just thermite open the wall, run straight through the bomb site and go for a plant? But I'm thinking, like, there's no Thatcher for a C4 denial, there's no real counterplay to any of the plants at all, no counter for the Clash either. So I'm curious how they're gonna problem solve this. And to make matters worse, a mirror window on the external wall means that the thermite has to be very careful. Maybe Muncie can block the angle, use a smoke grenade just to shield.
Wow.
Enable the thermite. Impact grenade could still be successful, though in theory it will be. Getting rid of that the first extra thermite charge. Thankfully, thermite got a buff not too long ago. He has 3 now. So you cannot go 2 impact grenades or 2 extra thermite charges. You have to trade 2 for 3. So the wall will get open, but this is an expensive way of doing so. It's gonna cost all the hot destruction in the beginning of the round on a singular wall.
Yeah, wow. I can't help but feel like Volps with the...
Okay.
We're just going to go for broke. Sometimes you just have to send it and see what happens. Herds is looking to try and cover from inside. There is no Soulless. There is no information on where that plan is going down, and it will be confirmed here in the 5v5 as DarkZero finally finds the first kill here for Furia. DZ are now forced to make some moves.
We can push forward!
Furia have brute forced their way into that bomb site, and this post plan looks nigh impossible now for DZ as the Clash tries to get active, but the Blitz will not be able to hold his nerve, will not be able to hold it in the post. And you're right, the Clash can now look for a chance to defuse. It's up to Loira and Diaz in the post plan as NJR's found one. The 5 versus 5 in the post plan. Diaz has no choice, but he will not find it. Oh, DarkZero. Not for a second do they worry, not for a second do they fret. They will conquer it in the post plant without a stress, without a care in the world.
Ridiculous how they played the entirety of the round. The prep work there, the mirror window, impact grenade denial, and I'm thinking there's no way Fury they brute force this problem, because any C4 going out or a toxic bait is gonna stop the plant from going down immediately. But they do full commit, they do not hesitate, and they get into a 5 or 4 man attackers alive post plant. That should be a round victory. That should be easy. But it's DC. They drop together, they fight together, they cover the right angles at the right moments, getting the shield in the right position to deny the person outside, and even doubling down with the toxic babe, countering the glass from swinging in a 50-50. So many small victories with DC, and that goes to show the communication, the synergy. Understand that when I'm gonna push left, my teammate's gonna push right, because they cannot make 5 minute plays simultaneously and also communicating it. That's understanding your teammates at the highest level. That is what experience gives you. That is that consistency and the play style that call out the coach has been just coaching these boys through for years at this point.
It's quite telling that neither of these teams have a player rated in the top 10 at this event.
What about the teamwork in it?
Is the highest rated player on DZ, and he's down at ranked 12th over the course of the event because, as you say, it's all about sharing the load, it's all about teamwork. And
there is some outliers. Wizard is probably still like top 5 or whatever, and he's out of the tournament.
Yeah,
so
I mean, most of the top players are out of the tournament. You got Bay, Wizard, Shuri, Player. Souls is the highest rated player who actually remains in the tournament at number 5.
And Grobian 7, yeah, okay. But still, I mean, I remember Newers first came to Tier 1 competition back in the Think LMG meta. The way this guy clears a room and checks the angles, it's a thing of beauty, okay? This guy knows how to slice the pie, as we say, perfectly every single time. Phenomenal entry player. Right now he's on the mute. Yet to find the kill because his teammates are too damn good right now doing it for him. It's been NGR and Kino kind of stealing the show. With Falls 3 rounds now in a row on the Clash. That's gonna be target ban, guaranteed by the way, from FURIA. And then DC can play, as I always like to say, the real strat. The thing that they've been preparing for because they know they're gonna target ban the Clash if Fultz were to play it out every single time, especially given that we've seen Shields all 3 rounds of FURIA.
That's right, and Falls played that Clash to great effect in the quarterfinal against Weibo as well. He is very much known for it, he's very happy to play it, and it's great at countering those very aggressive fast pushes like we saw last round. Great for enabling retakes as well. Now there is
looking.
Yeah, and there is a roamer upstairs. They don't have the Solid Snake or the Deimos to try and hunt him down, but I sure hope they drone him. It is Newers. Oh, you better check your corner, my friend. Newers looks around. He is going to be able to get down the hatch safely. Oh, just barely. Nitrous L goes out. Good idea, but Volps doesn't overexpose himself.
Damage is done though. There's 60 seconds left and Newers is still on the room. I think he's gonna recognize now that they're gonna be watching him. He does unfortunately full commit to the swing, so Gus gets taken down pretty early there. That means the roaming presence has been shut down by FURIA, but they gotta speed up the second phase of the round. Pop the floor, try and get the hatch and storm down the staircase. The time is gonna be their biggest enemy. Up against the Clash, up against NGR, Grispot Mine in pocket. I'm not sure if you can even go for a staircase push. This might just be a hatch drop of desperation.
Yeah, which is going to be a challenge when the Clash is still active to try and counter that Monty. Herds, one nade in pocket, might be able to bank it off the wall here. Go for a kill against Kino, who's just waiting. There might be catch available though. Kino actually wins his fight. I think Herds just went to the dry peak and he will lose. There's also a flank. Meanwhile, it's being watched by DarkZero. DZ getting a little bit too active, but time is on their side. FURIA now have just a few seconds to try and force this plant down. Volbs has it ready, goes for the turtle, backs up, but no, gets swung from J90. Worried about the vert, but there's nothing to worry about here for DZ because once again, FURIA failed to get in the building, failed to get their plant down before that timer hit 0.
Now the ridiculous, what should have probably been a post-plant defense there, but it doesn't even get to it. DC are so good at not overstepping. They yellow pinged where the Monty was planting at, and then they forced him off of it. No one is down to the verticality. No one gets caught off guard. The only risky play they made was false flanking with the Clash because that could have been the win condition on the bomb side. And it just feels like every time DC do go for a play, there's always a second or third step to it, like we saw having a fishing crossfire. Monty banned away, and actually Mira. So Clash gets to survive, and with the Monty being banned away, those shoes are not going to have a good time. FURIA will call their tactical timeout quite early, being down 0-3.
Jogo para controlar o pace do jogo, é o que a gente conversou. Tudo bem, eles controlaram 3 rounds. O que eu não quero que vocês façam agora? Quero diminuir a velocidade que a gente combinou que ia jogar, tá ligado? As únicas plays que eles tinham esse playstyle de controlar o pace foram as 3 primeiras de Clash. Eles vão fazer as outras agora, tá ligado? Então a gente só segue o plano de como pegar o pace de volta pra gente, fazendo semi-comando, tipo que nem o Orgina falou, seguir esse plano, mesmo se tiver guivado a gente faz pra dar a primeira pisada no mapa, e no Elite é a full verde, só que vocês têm que usar a fase de preparação, conversando o máximo de detalhe possível pra quando a gente começar o round, a gente botar a velocidade de verdade, não só na conversa, guys, na atitude do começo de round, fechou? Guys, a gente tem que voltar com pace, quando vocês voltar com pace, vão começar a ficar mais confortável no jogo.
So I've always said, I wish I could understand what they were talking about. James, you've been taking some lessons of various languages. Could you help me out here? What was said during that tag timeout?
I heard Tudavang, which means, how are you? All good? Question mark. I'm not sure if that's actually what he said or if it's a sound like it, but look, that was pretty much all I got, unfortunately. I still got to work on my Portuguese. We need to get Maria back in for one of the future broadcasts when we got these guys on again. But, you know, of course, Redux, who is the new coach of FURIA ever since they had their big roster reboot post-6 Invitational. He was the coach of Team Liquid back in the day. He's a very experienced player. He had his own playing career prior to that.
That he did.
At FURIA, of course, it's 5 players that were on 5 different teams before this event rolled around. They all have their own different experiences, different opinions on how to play it out. I did also hear the Clash mentioned. I don't know if you caught that.
I did not. But I mean, I think the fact that they left it unbanned means that you need to expect it from coming through in the future, and of course it has been very first round after.
Look, I don't mind seeing a Clash left unbanned as long as you're confident that you can counter it. But I'm also the kind of guy that after you lose a bomb site on defense, you go straight back to it because you know exactly why you lost it. But that's just me. Every player is different. You got to do what feels comfortable, what feels right. There are a lot of ingredients here to counter that Clash. The Nomad, the Zofia, and even technically the Sledge. If you can get that hammer up, it'll knock the Clash back on her feet.
Technically true, yeah.
It is a melee battle with the Clash, guaranteed to beat her.
What I'm worried about with FURIA is going to be the early stage of a round, right? Can they either get the opening pick so they get man advantage, or can they be swiftly enough in the building to not have time be a problem against them? Right now they're fishing for the Clash downstairs with Zofia, the 3 big booms. And it's very important here that you land the Zofia explosive beneath or behind the Clash, because this explosive resistance will block some of that damage. So you saw the first shot from Foes did a lot of damage, and the follow-up 2 barely did any.
That's still a lot of damage there onto Folds. Well, but unfortunately for Loira, he's shot out. Newers using these keeper barriers very well. DarkZero tries to get active with the shotgun, but he's forced back by the smoke. DZ happy to peel back the layers, happy to give up some ground on Mezzanine because they have so much late round utility with that smoke. And of course, the Tachanka to deny the plant in the late round.
We're just checking if there's anybody outside here from Falls, no big deal. Knows the flying backstep is now actually going to be removed from action. Could even barricade the door if he really wants to, but he's got places to be, places to go. DarkZero got the Sledge Shotty primary, looking to take the Rocket Stairs control, but being stalled out by Kino's Toxic Babes, who also has the same shotgun against him. And if I gotta take any bets here, my money's on Kino. This guy is the best smoke shotgun player in the world, okay? He's got that on the lock and key.
And also a missed opportunity there from Herds as he lands a few bullets. This is going to need to be a big entry from him, and he does finally take down one. Might be able to finish off J90 in a second, but FURIA immediately erupt into the bomb site. They find most of the kills, all up to Foltz and Newers now on the retake, as FURIA are poised to try and confirm that plant sooner rather than later. But they don't have the diffuser at the moment, and Newers has just ripped it back into the favor of DarkZero. DarkZero and Volps now. What do? You don't have that defuse. How can you get it back? Newers keen to take these gunfights. DarkZero with the Reaper. Wants to try and close the distance. Wants to take the fight with the shotgun. The young gun for FURIA finds the first. Up against the old guard for Foltz. With that Clash, he's got the perfect angle. SMG in hand. Peeling back deeper. Sniper shotgun from DarkZero. And the drums will sing for FURIA. They finally make their way into the server.
Finally, a small mistake there from DC, which FURIA could capitalize upon. In the 1v2 for DarkZero, Newers was prone on the floor, a little bit too far to his left-hand side, so it became a 1v1. Foes couldn't find the angle. He's standing, you see it right here. If Newers is a little bit further to his right, they see the angle at the same time, and they have that crossfire. So just a little bit of lack of synchronization that they've been so good at thus far, but DarkZero landing those shots, taking the fight, yet the Reaper secondary and shotgun primary, neither of which you would want to take that fight with.
Big moment for DarkZero as well. At his second ever international event, only 4 months since joining Tier 1 of Rainbow Six, after 5 years of playing in Tier 2 as an underage player for the majority of it. He's also the only one in the server right now that has never been in a grand final at an international event. Most of the players in the server have one or 2 trophies, or even more in the case of a player like Herds, who's won 4 trophies across his career and been in a grand final that he lost all those years ago. Six Invitational in Montreal 2023 when he had Volps on his team back in the W7M days. DarkZero, very much new blood, 20 years of age.
Top fragger right now as well for FURIA. All of a huge clutch. The thing is, right, DC, they won some rounds that was a bit of a clutch side on their behalf. Only felt the FURIA get one back. And this time with the mirror window being banned away, the wall can be popped open, but Diaz is very particular about how he wants to approach this. Surely we don't see the same full command push 200 times in a row, right? Smokes are going out, the glass is there, the fuse is there, they're gonna do it again!
But will it work? Surely not 2 for 2. Loira is watching avidly.
How is this happening?
The plan will be
They do not
confirmed
know.
indeed.
Oh, they Grismod
Oh, wow, genius. The plant denial with the Grismod mine, something we see so rarely, but DZ have clued in that FURIA want to get in the building fast, as they are often want to do. And that does bait out all 4 of the smoke gadgets from FURIA. That Glaz essentially just a gun from here on out.
What a good read there. Using Grismod for plant denial. C4 also was spent though from Newer, so there's less ways of dealing with Volps on the shield right now. It all is down to Kino and forcing the clash.
This battle here has stalled out FURIA. DZ happy to expend their util early, all 3 gas babes, just to prevent FURIA from getting their plan.
Back to the breach!
And indeed, it is now back to the breach, but this time it'll be raw with no smokes. A few flashes to try and enable it. But that means that the peaks can come through from DZ. A swing from Newers here, low HP, but most of the info is being garnered by Faults. With that clash, Newers eventually will fall. He wasn't able to answer his phone safely. FURIA are now so close to that bomb site. Big aggression there with the air jab as Hertz finds a triple! NJR denied the plan, but he cannot deny FURIA! A flawless response as the Brazilians find their second round.
The same execute twice on the breach, countered in 2 different ways by DC, but FURIA, they are relentless. They go upstairs, they flip the attack, they say, you know what, that's not gonna work either. Back to the breach we go. But they push together from the bomb site door, from the breach. You saw DarkZero, they weren't fully aware what was the bait play and what was the real play. They were thinking, okay, if we commit 2 out to the bomb site, they're gonna pick us apart up top. So they were watching their angles above them instead of watching the verticality down towards the breach, unable to help Force there on the clash. So he gets the shield away, goes for a gunfight, Hertz goes for a counter swing, finds 3 headshots in quick succession, and single-handedly finds all the kills that FURIA needed to win that round.
And this is classic FURIA. Every round comes down to somebody stepping up. Of course, a lot of team play, but you cannot deny that 2 rounds ago, it was DarkZero that took matters into his own hands with the 1v2 on the shoddy. That round, it was Hertz. He found 2 on the bomb site, including the clash of faults, and then quickly flicked around onto the flank. Hertz has been one of the most prolific players of the last 3 years. After losing that grand final with W7M in Montreal to G2, he went on to win 2 majors, a 6 invitational, and then a year ago, the Reload Finals, the only trophy that FURIA as an organization actually have in their trophy cabinet.
Also been to 2 SI finals in which they lost, right? 1 to G2 and then 1 to FaZe later. So, I mean, there was a world where that core of WCM would have won 3 SIs in a row, and the same percent for FaZe Clan. They also could have won 3 SIs in a row had they not been stopped in the comeback story from that WCM core. Craziness from Brazil the last 3 years or so. Exothermic charge 1 on the soft wall doesn't really get the job done.
There's a secondary shotgun from Hertz. He can breach that open.
Maybe he forgot he has it, you know? Hertz doesn't strike me as a Thermite main, okay? You know, he's a great player and all, but maybe not the first guy I would put on Thermite.
Has he really brought pistol, or has he just forgotten?
I don't know, but he's not going to go for it. And that leaves that pressure open for General. Takes it fight to Loira, who's taking a lot of damage on the Twitch F2. Not going to be able to take many fights in the future, but it's okay. He has 2 Twitch drones in pocket, can use that utility instead, and help his teammate move forward.
Yeah, but you're right, Genano is looking very unfazed here in Warehouse. Eventually he will fall back, but he's delayed so much time. Surely he's clued into the fact that there's a Glaz. Diaz has been playing it a lot. We've had all of FURIA sharing it around.
3rd round.
That Glaz. 3rd round in a row.
A lot of smoke still being spent here in Garage. That's the 5th smoke grenade being spent out of the 6. They actually have 8, sorry.
Oh my God.
They have many more to go. 8 smoke grenades, a lot of pressure on Diaz to succeed now on the glass. And every smoke gives them a little bit further in the building, but still being stalled out here in Warehouse.
Good angle to swing here. NJR with the Scorpion in close range should be favored in this fight.
Glass
and indeed, he will swing onto Diaz's head. That's goodbye to the Glass. Wow, what a shot from Hertz. Big kill to even up the numbers again for FURIA.
Question is there a follow-up? Is there a second play? Roardor is locking off the crossfire right now. He's gonna go for a swing. Doesn't find the kill, but a lot of damage here from Loira, Volps, and Hurts. They're all quite low on health.
Great usage of that Ryura door to open up. Of course, it gets opened up very quickly by the attackers, much more slowly by the defenders. Great bit of tech there, known by Loira, but he himself is low HP. Needs to have a big impact with the F2 this round. And Volps has these narrow angles with the TCSG.
Coil Fire, 2 Toxic Babes in pocket as well, only 30 seconds. Time to be the biggest enemy right now for Furia.
As it often is, but
they swing!
finding the kills very rarely will be an issue for Hertz. He is traded on back. Volts and Newers now, but they should know exactly where both of these players are for DZ. Furia should be able to use process of elimination. Newers is snuck into a corner. A couple of shots, rat-a-tatting out from DarkZero, but he goes down. Now it's all up to Newers. Pops the fire extinguisher, but he can't cover himself for a second on 1 HP. Loira finds a 3rd round in a row for Furia. It's a comeback in a very big way on their map pick as we go into the scheduled halftime timeout.
Guys, perfeito, mano. Agora eles estão em choque pra caralho. Voltamos. O pace é nosso, guys.
Caralho.
Segue esse flow, tá ligado? Eu acho que a parada que vocês têm que a diferença da gente pra eles agora, a gente tá num momento de coragem pra caralho. A gente tem que usar isso aí na defesa, guys. Coragem, vamos fazer os piques que você falou, que os caras saem que nem os loucos da base, tá ligado? Guys, hora de botar medo neles, tá ligado? Eu acho um pouquinho, a gente voltou o controle, vamos começar a botar medo. Só vou lembrar pra vocês a ordem de defesa e vocês conversam os detalhes de como é que vocês vão se comportar em cada uma, tá ligado? Lembrando, a gente vai fazer a Step Shock, porque eles deixam choque geralmente, eles só vão se foder com cai de tuba nosso, tá ligado? No CEO. Depois a gente vai pra Labs Fúria com Double Dozer escada, não vamos esquecer disso. Vopão, você é Card, você tem que esconder no Neymar. Obrigado. E o Beto vai de Gela. Lá pros caras que vão rodar a escada. Depois, guys, a gente vai pra Beliche 4-1 com choque. O Wolf vai de Bandit, o Ordina vai de tuba. E aí você joga com
know if they're going to be on the Namos side. If they do, remember we talked about we put the Grim on the front, use the buck from below. Or if they're doing like heavy wall and all package Volker, remember as well, we can use the IQ to get those walls open. Kind of just read that though. And if they're not playing the wall denial, and we identify that, even though we're not going to ban it, make sure we're bringing the fucking hard reach out and creating some pressure around before we go into what we already prepared for.
Yeah.
Heard on it.
Maybe some fellas.
Yeah.
Swagger and Septal Junction perhaps.
Little Swagger
and we also have something very exciting, Diggs. We have a brand new off 3-2-1. The big bazooka.
I thought we pocketed that, no?
Something brand new, Kolat says, huh?
Very spicy.
I love how they're kind of playing into, I mean, I'm assuming here from the communication there, with the IQ, the block, the verticality with the Grim, they're gonna leave the Bandit and or Kaid open, so they can effectively ban stronger defending operators to enable themselves to get close to the bomb side. And then the issue is, if they lock down the walls, you can't get step 1 done. So therefore they play heavy verticality with different operator bans to counter.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. We do actually have a little bit of a belated translation. Shout out Maria, who often works on the Brazilian stream. She must have been watching. She must have heard our cries for help. And she said what Redux said in the, not this halftime timeout, but the earlier tactical timeout called by Furia at the start of the first half, was to control the pace of the game and really use that prep phase to call what you're going to do in the action phase. Get as much info as you can so you bring the right operators to counter it, which is a great little bit of insight there. And it's a double shield ban, and I really like this. A smoke and mute ban, the double SAS. That does throw a curveball for Furia's setups.
It absolutely does. I'm a huge fan of this. So the mute ban, it's going to be very tricky, right? There's no ways now of like circumventing the Deimos tracker except for 2-brow freezing, which is very limited and high in cost. Same if you're playing out like a Dokkaebi later on, if you want to check the cameras as any of the camera operators, etc. And I love how DC are going into this, not doing default bans. Again, they know that the Bandikai 2-brow could be a problem, but they did mention they're going to play heavily verticality on the attacking side. With the mute ban, Deimos can get any track through, then arguably get any kill, vertically speaking, as well. Then they ban the smoke, it's all about the planting now and stalling out the round, and this is going to make it a lot easier to plant later in the game. Furia with a double shield ban feels a bit like, what's that going to achieve? You know, like, sure, there are some great shield players on the side of DC, but there's 4 shields in the game. Banning 2 of them just means they'll play the 3rd or 4th option. They're not going to stop playing the shields.
Yeah. Look, it doesn't remove shields completely, but it does make you have a think about which ones might be the biggest problem. And in this case, for Furia, they don't want to deal with Monty or Blitz. And I'm looking at Keno's most played operators in the last 3 months.
All 3?
Actually, Blackbeard, Blitz, and then Monty. Blackbeard, his favorite, and that's not the one that's banned at all.
And again, you get the frag grenades with that as well. Oofed. A little bit of damage to the J9, who did get a spawn peek himself in a very opening round using the same operator. Off the 2 per hour. But for DC, it's going to be a lot different attacks I expect from FURIA. It's going to be heavily on what we call like the step 1, step 2, step 3.
And then the 3-2-1. That magic 3-2-1 we're excited for.
And the reason why step 1, 2, 3 is so important is that when you're working together with the verticality beneath and the lateral push above, you have to take the space below you as you're progressing the map. So Kino in this case has to wait for the downstairs player to push beneath him. Check it with a drone, hold the flank, etc. So it's all about leapfrogging back and forth and helping each other progress the map. Bulbs is rotated downstairs, expecting somebody to be here. Currently there isn't anybody, and that's why that C4 can be so lethal. Because DC haven't sent that player yet downstairs. They actually went off the demos in the last few seconds of the attacker repick phase, so perhaps they're not gonna work it from the verticality after all.
Good little double job there from Foltz. He manages to breach the wall with the Flores, but also get some info. I believe he did see that player that was hiding in display. A lot of measuring before making the first incision here for DarkZero, which does add up. It's very much their playstyle. They're slow and steady, and then they're explosive, and they pounce.
From upstream in towards the bomb side. That's NGR find that opening pick. But this is not going to be the usual attack. It's more of a split theory. We see him window, bathroom window, ops and back portion. They're attacking from all different angles and kind of forcing FURIA to pick where they're going to send the majority of the guns, and then they'll attack the area that is weaker.
Oh, nice. Good shot, though, from DarkZero. Up in close range, he's taking the fight against the Blackbeard, but he wastes his only impact grenade. And now it'll be very hard for him to get enough damage on to get that kill as the nade forces him back. He's about to try and take the 1v1 here. Flashbang will force him back again as Loira has fallen on the other side of the map. DZ have multiple facets to their push, but DarkZero able to juggle all of them at once. 3 kills looking for number 4. The young gun once again. FURIA have taken the lead on Lair.
Blink and you miss it. So many kills found quickly from FURIA and DarkZero, but DC did not have that push together. Display window jumping, got double swung, and the push from Kino and his teammate did not have the other angle to go for a punish play. So DarkZero finds a 1v1 kill, turns around, a second 1v1 kill, and then gets a third shortly after. DC were supposed to attack at the same time from different angles to guarantee that trade. They don't get it. Look at this, completely isolated fights, despite having their Blackbeard, despite having the Grim Beast, despite having the Solid Snake information.
Lot of energy from DarkZero, standing up after his 4K in that round. He's popping off today, a 1v2 to find the first round from FURIA on the attacking side. Now he's got 10 kills to just 3 deaths, by far and away the top fragger in the server. Keeping in mind, this is his first ever foray into Tier 1, only having been on the team since the roster changes for FURIA 4 months ago. It's his second ever international event. You could say he hasn't missed an event since joining Tier 1.
Not bad.
Not bad at all, especially because Salt Lake City was a very forgettable event for FURIA. They even lost to a CNL team at their debut. And yeah, they were out first rounded. And now they're into the top 4, potentially even a grand final.
Could this be that new 3-2-1 that Callout spoke about? I see an Amaru in there. I see a possibility of a fast take combined with the Ying as well. A drone hole fight.
Wow.
What? You get injured from that. He can crawl away. That kill confirmation should not come through, but what a way to stall things out. NGR good for 2 opening kills in a row. Yeah,
good, but J9 being taken so low means that he's going to be so much more vulnerable in the late round. The Candelas want to come out here. I wonder what the play is with the Amaru from Newers. We talked about this in the Weibo game when DZ met. Oh, okay, it's exactly what we've seen in the past from APAC teams, but it doesn't work, unfortunately, for Newers. He goes straight in.
It's a good trade, though, right? Play on the staircase. Oh my god, not again, but the
kidding me.
On the drone hole, J9 first injured, then kill confirmed. And again, DC taking isolated 1v1 gunfights and falling in those important moments.
Yeah, and it's brought FURIA back into a winning position here because DZ had that numbers advantage after that Amaru play. Even though Newers was traded out, as you said, they took a lot of ground. Now it's Vert time here for Foltz. And he's got to be extra careful that Volps doesn't throw up his C4. to take down that sledge. That would be a very costly mistake. But instead, we actually have Volps on for a flank in the first floor. Seemingly aware of it. DZ on the other side holding their flanks.
Just a bit of bad timing there from Force. Doesn't find the angle, doesn't see the gun barrel of Loira hiding down his infiltration. Could honestly even go for reinforcement, but too risky. I think with the Vert open up above him, Nate goes out, so yes, indeed, way too risky now. That means Kino can take that space with the Blackbeard.
Wants to try and re-peek it. A little bit of damage on MJR. He's so low on HP now. He just wants the tiniest chance here to go for another shot. The Blackbeard staring him down. Volps gonna try and toss out a Nitro Cell. Thankfully, NJR backs up just enough, and Kino doesn't take damage either. But Loira insistent. The nade is likely going to flush him out of his position, but no, he's dancing with death. 2 ways, wants to take the fight. It's a double. Loira's a demon. Laughter ringing in the server from DarkZero. It's Fultz in a 1v3, and he's given no quarter by FURIA. 33 seconds with no diffuser. The drums are ringing out for FURIA again, and Volps will put the final nail in the coffin. It is 5 rounds in a row for the Brazilians.
Once they control the pace, they do not let go. Absolutely ridiculous performance, and with that, I think it's time for Call to get to the action. DC will call their attack timeout.
Get on top of that so I can start tracking through the floor. If it's bunks, just stick to what we talked about on the prep side. And then the last thing I'm going to say, when we go to re-attack basement, kind of read what they're doing there. Like, make sure we're making the right adjustments to the operators, too. So, like, we saw they brought a Kate off that. Let's talk about what that means. Should we bring a Thatcher out and place something else? Like, Thatcher breach instead of sledge, something like that. Shit like that, for example, when we're re-attacking that fucking base side. Primarily off that, because it was a different setup. Just push the drones deep, call up what you see for basement. The bunks, stick to what we talked about. I think it's going to work. And then for Master, like I said, Damos below, Snake B2 side. Dominate the rocket side, then after that, if you want to, we can flip, or we can just fucking commit to it. It's up to you, whatever you see.
Let's go. Get the energy up.
Really interesting note there. I noticed J90 typing furiously, and when we saw his monitor for a second, you could actually see some text on the screen. Now, I actually have a monitor here which shows the all chat, right? There's nothing in it, which means that they're typing in the team chat. They're writing down the notes of what callout is telling them in that tactical timeout so that only they can see it, and they can always click that Y button on their keyboard to scroll up and reread the notes from the tactical timeout.
You can take as many notes as you want. I think right now for DC, small individual mistakes and maybe honestly a lack of leadership. You know, we saw Fultz under verticality. He saw the feet of Loira the entire time. Went for the grenade toss, which forced her to swing and get 2 free kills. They had 4 grenades in that previous round. They had the Yinkadilla, who died on the drone hole, of course, and they couldn't deal with just Loira. Playing in a very tiny box on the map. Furia's individual players have carried them for 5 rounds straight. And it's been all of them, except for Diaz, arguably, getting involved into it, right? DarkZero had 2 big rounds, Loira had a big round, Hertz had a big round. And for DC, we talk about them with so much praise. But all that praise comes back to the same point. They are a great team. And while they have phenomenal individual players, they're not a team that relies on Nero's dropping 20 kills, Fultz dropping 20 kills. They rely on teamwork, coordination, communication. And then it's actually where they've been falling short in the final, or the last 2 or 3 rounds, I would say.
The thing is, Siege is a bit of a fickle game sometimes. You can be the best team in the world, you will still drop rounds, right? Sometimes someone will get a 1v2, someone will get a 4K, someone will have a life round. Yeah. You factor that in. You just want to be more consistent, because when you're playing a BO3 or a BO5, the better team should win, right? And it comes down to 2 things. It comes down to prep, it comes down to performance, or it comes down to 3 things. Prep, performance, and mental game. And DZ are insanely good at all of those 3 things.
They are.
But they're starting to falter because they've lost 5 rounds in a row, and it's starting to get to them.
I mean, I saw NTR's player can there. I mean, he's fist bombing his teammate. You can feel the frustration, like very aggressively with it. Here comes that initial first push. Tocatella's going out, DarkZero as well. Fultz screwed up a staircase, but there's no real fighting happening. The only damage stones from DarkZero is going off.
With Candela, Hertz elects not to use his util to try and slow down the push. Instead, he just falls back quite simply.
Hold on. I have
Geno's going to get info as well with the solid snake. No, there's 2 players on this top floor. DC want to try and clear as much of them out as possible before they look for the execute on the bomb site to prevent that vertical denial in the late round. Hertz gets injured through the wall from Fultz. I'm not sure he knows about it. Might be able to go for the finish off. Fultz is worrying. Volps is in fact pre-firing him straight back, and Diaz from up above on the hatch. Folds had the injure, and whether he knew it or not now, he's lost the advantage, and Loira's lashed out as well. Back on his feet, Herds can spring into action on the bomb side, but it's DarkZero and Diaz together to put DZ in the most unenviable position of all. NJR can't find a damn thing. The one player who was yet to step up for FURIA, it was Diaz. He had his moments.
That makes it 6 rounds straight for FURIA, and every single member now is clutched up for the team. DC once again taking 1v1 fights. Like you said, Foles, did he know he had the injury? Maybe, maybe not, but he gets caught downstairs, he falls first. The upstairs push also, again, lacking that synchronization. A player dies, 3 seconds go by. A second player dies, 3 seconds go by. The third player dies. A lot of pro teams, they have this, like, rule that you should only be a 1 second sprint away from the trade when the fight is happening. If 3 full seconds are going by between those deaths from DC, it means they're either too far away or they're hesitating. That or simply a lack of communication, which I keep going back to because it looks like the comms are missing. And if you have Foles on a lurk roll downstairs while the roamers are trying to deal with the upstairs attack, maybe Foles finds himself in the wrong spots on the map. It is so challenging in Rainbow Six Siege to call a roam clear if you're not a part of it, because you're focused on your own gunfight, your own positioning, your own play in a different area of the map. Now, he said that DC, they do have the mental game, and they absolutely do. And this is a best of 3, so you can come back on the second map, go to a third, etc. But the way that things have shifted after a dominant 3-round streak for DC is a concern.
Yeah, I mean, it's Nighthaven Labs after this, and the desk was saying FURIA, not the best Labs team. DZ picks that map. But my concern is exactly what you just said. The fact that, not that this is 6-3, the fact that this is 6 in a row from FURIA. DZ were dominant in those opening 3 rounds. Since then, FURIA have been unreal. It started with a 1v2 clutch from DarkZero at 0-3 down. And then it just turned into an utter tsunami of FURIA.
So we're all taking a deep breath to kind of reset going to this, right? Third operator bends, DC target out the Warden. But we don't see a Glass, we don't see a Ying, we don't see any of the operators that would work really well into it. And I don't know if this is them not finding all those 5 defending operators in the prep phase and then not having the full info to make the right decisions. But it does feel a little bit lackluster. FURIA, the good read though, did ban away the Glass, so that's not going to be in the equation any longer. It leaves just the Ying open. So opening pick is going to be so important. DC need a good, strong start to this round, then re-stabilize, get back together as a team, and then attack and pounce forward together.
A lot of the util is being expended here just to try and take down these castle barricades. No longer do we have 3 big booms available for J90. He's just got 2 to use 1 on the castle barricade. Wow, timing that with an explosion. I don't know if that was deliberate or not for Newers, but might have masked some sound from him as he looks to go below. Put some vertical pressure on those anchors on the bomb site for FURIA. And with the castle getting targeted, that tells DarkZero that he is open for a flank. It's a beautiful bait for FURIA. Good trade from Foltz as the top fragger from FURIA will go down. But DZ still are no closer to pushing into that bomb site.
DC had the hallway control, but NJR and Kino, General locking down the bathroom flank as well, so they have a little bit of space to work with, but almost no hot destruction. Last summer going out right now on the wall. But there is an impact trick in the pocket of Hertz, waiting for it, tossed on out. So again, now DC forced to go for plan C. They gotta just brute force the door. Actually, no, the breach did get opened up. Go your fire pop. 60 seconds to play.
Oh my god, as if you get this done with the Boss G. Herds should surely not be favored to win this. It's nigh impossible to win a fight against a Blackbeard with the Boss G, even when he aims you down sides. You need rate of fire. Now he gets the SMG-12, gets taken down, but immediately FURIA back up. They've still got Diaz on the bomb site. The fire will go out, it will slow down DarkZero, and it's a flank from Volps.
Just gonna play with Loira in bathroom hallway as well. You see the guns turn around, but he got the crossfire, locks it down.
NJR forced to 1 versus 3. Diffuser cold on the ground. First FURIA came for wildcard. Now they're coming for the rest of North America. 7 rounds in a row.
between the two maps, they need to come up with a new game plan.
To be fair, their quarterfinal against Weibo, they lost Nighthaven 7-3, but then they ended up bouncing back on Lair and winning that, and then they won Clubhouse. So adaptability, they've proven they can do it.
I mean, and that's the one thing you are not going to beat DarkZero in, and that is by far their mental game.
And I was not surprised to see DarkZero go back to a map that they had just lost. If there's one team that can turn around a map in 24 hours, that is DarkZero. It's not a worry for me that they lost to Weibo on the one. And now we're going into one of the most traditional ban that we've ever had.
Wall denial and the wall operators.
So that's going to make basically secondary hard bridge, Hibana and Maverick very interesting on their side.
I mean, it's going to be a lot of fights aside rafters. You're going to be getting open IT. You're going to be getting open up electrical. You're going to be pushing over from con side. I mean, there's going to be a lot on that top floor, a lot of layers that we're typically used to being able to see. So I want to see a lot of Mira. I want to be able to see a zombie being used here for setups, depending what we're going to see, and that's exactly what we're going to get.
Well, in their quarterfinal, they needed to bounce back. And unfortunately, Nighthaven Labs was not where they could do it. They're going to have to do it here if they want to stay alive and have a shot at the grand final, because FURIA are one game away. Let's send it back over to your casters, Dev and Pengu.
Thank you, Rainday, and you're dead right. DarkZero managed to bounce back after losing a map to Weibo to then win the series. But what was that map they lost to Weibo? Oh, hang on, that was right here. And Nighthaven Labs, wasn't it? DZ lost this just 2 days ago to Weibo. FURIA, on the flip side, they did lose this last week to GK in the group stage. But I got to admit, DZ, you picked this map right after losing it in the quarters. You better back it up, especially after losing 7 in a row at the end of map 1.
It's also a matter of, it was a very close fought battle against Weibo, and Weibo, they're a great team, probably the best out of APAC in recent years, and for the one run from CAG at the Reload Major. But like, if you go really close against APL team, and now you're up against FURIA, who has found their stride at this event, I don't know if a close game is enough in that sense. I do feel like DC feel that pressure as well going to today. Knew there's a lot of issues that to work upon, errors that was made in that quarterfinal. Nighthaven, a lot more default, right? As the desk said as well. We saw DC when they were attacking on Lair, ban out the mute jammer and barely play the demos, almost no verticality. Didn't feel like the strat came to life in that game, in that map. That has to shift here. It's not on defense, it's all about the paperwork and preparation.
It wasn't one of those matches for DZ where one of your players goes like 0-8 and someone else steps up. No, I mean, you look across the board, the scoreboard from Lair, you had NJR 8-7, you had the bottom fragger being J9O 4-8, like not the end of the world. Even J9O managed to get an opening kill. It's very evenly spread. Not the best stats, but not the worst I've ever seen for DZ. So it's not a story of someone just was having a bad map and needs to wake up, needs to go to the bathroom, get some water and maybe reset. It's the whole team. Something was not going well for them at the end of that first map.
Skyro's going out, IQ scanner from below, does a bit of damage on the falls as well. Dukabiko has to answer it now, and he does so. So he stays alive. But DC already feeling all that pressure. They got Volps on the shield as well. Progressing in towards Electric to the left-hand side of NGR. He's going to walk straight into a shield in a second. There it is.
Indeed. Oh, and they go for the jump in. It's a good read, though, and a good bait from NJR. DarkZero not able to confirm that kill. His Reign of Terror slowed down briefly.
It's a great smoke from Keen. Otherwise, I think the Volps will just go for a right swing here with the Monty. Camera check and a bit of danger. Actually, don't be called with the Irish scanner downstairs. That's what the angle's going to be instead. So NGR tanks the 40 damage, can no longer be called, so IQ more ineffective downstairs.
Yeah, not quite as impactful as Herds had wanted with that IQ scanner, but at least Laura is able to finish off what remained of faults on the bomb site. With NJR low HP, he has to make sure not to expose himself for even the brief of moments.
The second this smoke expires, got to push here. Newell's get injured though before the push has to come.
Yeah, if we have an overpeak here from J9O, it could be bad. Time is ticking away. Flashbangs will come out. The revive from J9O onto Newers to get him back on his feet. Kino finds one big with a shotgun. One of the best shotty players in the game at the moment. DZ recompose and prevent that eventual execute. They've finally broken that streak against them by getting around on the board.
Still a bit too close for comfort, I think, and I like these small sort of mini games of FURIA they're implementing. Seeing them with the Dokkaebi, call, IQ scanner downstairs is almost like a one-way balk and a one-way demos, because when you're balking open the floor, defenders can use it against you as an attacker downstairs. When your demo's tracking, you gotta find the right person that you're targeting, and also they see roughly where you are, and people can watch down the verticality. With the IQ Dokkaebi, there's no counterplay. You're getting shot through floor that isn't broken yet by a electric scanning gadget and a pistol.
Yeah.
So it's quite cheeky, and it almost found them 2 kills.
It's a great idea, but it's also very low damage, so you have to land a lot of shots, or you have to get lucky and land a headshot. And you're not likely to land a headshot because it's the legs.
Well, it was Hurts,
legs in the body.
so...
Isn't the way. Hey, you never know with Hurts. You never know. He would have gone ballistic if he'd found a kill or two, though, that's for sure. The tick damage, though, it counts for something. Nice little one idea, but it's a nice one to try in ranks if you want to coordinate with the player on your team. A little bit of fun. But for FURIA, they'll have to have more than that in the back of the tank. And at the moment, it's next up for DZ, a defensive control room and storage. So what is the play here for FURIA? Most teams will look to try and take the top floor at the start of the round, the bottom floor with the late lurk, and then execute into the bomb site. But with how many hard direct hits we saw from FURIA on the first map, wouldn't be surprised to see more of the same here.
That main wall of IT continues to be a problem for the attackers here of FURIA. The mirror window popped open, mute jammers behind it, the Skyros not effective, gotta get either EMPs or go on the roof here, find the angle through the mirror window itself.
Yeah.
But it's just slowing down the round significantly. Look Diaz, he has no help right now. And it's right in the middle. So there comes the EMP, now they can open it up for a bit of pressure, but that has actually cost them a significant amount of time and even resources for the very first step of the round. It's a good kind of maze of problems for DC. C4 Folds finds Hurts as well. Huge pick for Grim, and the breach is not really workable just yet. Morgs Kairos need the last 2 in pocket. And one of them got shot, I heard, so I don't think they can walk it in. No, they cannot.
Uh-oh. That's a very awkward breach. This is the whole strat behind banning out that Ace Thermite combo. You have to use the Hibana, which can very easily be countered with a nice combo. Good spot, though, from Loira. Doesn't expose himself to the Razor Boom from the Thorn. So I think the win condition here for FURIA with that breach a little bit mucked up. The way that they get into this is by lurking in, as Loira intends to do, especially if they're able to play good execute onto Kino at the top of the blue stairs.
So much time burned away. DarkZero falls as well. There's just DC locking them outside the building. I mean, no one's really injured when they do. They die immediately.
Right. This is much more of the flavor we expect to see out of DarkZero. Volps and Loira, the last 2 left, and Foltz continues from the top floor to get information with that cardiac sensor. Loira not even able to find that kill onto Newers. Not a lick of HP down onto any of the DZ players. Volps 1v5. I mean, this one, at this point, you may as well just take as a chance to talk to the team and say, guys, what do we do for next round? But it's Volp, so he'll give it a go.
Do his very best. And if anything, just find an exit frag or 2, get some more kills on the scoreboard, or just exit the building once again, perhaps, like you said. Discuss with the boys what the problem's gonna be about, how to fix it going forward. FURIA had a similar slow start to the first map of Lair. They started 0-3, and then they won every single round after, so I honestly have no idea what's gonna happen.
Well, the one thing I do know is that FURIA's coach has just said that we're gonna take a tactical timeout after this round ends, so Volps, before the tactical timeout, can just have a little bit of an impromptu one. He won't be able to talk to his coach, but he can talk to his players right now. He'll save the KD, maybe try and bait a bit of KD out of this one. I don't think Kino's going to fit. Oh, sorry, it's Foltz. I don't think Foltz will feed him. There we go. DZ take the round. A good start for them to Nighthaven Labs, but now as DZ figure out what their next defense is, it's a tactical timeout called by FURIA. Let's have a listen in to what the Brazilians have to say.
Guys, eles estão literalmente repetindo o comp e a ordem que eles fizeram na análise, tá ligado? O que eles vão fazer agora? Eles vão counterar o nosso split colocando o espelho lá embaixo. Guys, eu só queria pausar pra falar pra vocês não começar a brisar de sair do plano, tá ligado? É a mesma coisa. Eles vão fazer a tática deles, um 3-1 com o espelho lá, a gente vai fazer full caçado pra foguetar em cima, padrão, e depois a gente vai banir mira, a gente joga split. Guys, depois que acabar o plano de parede, a gente vai estar muito mais leve, muito mais solto pra conseguir fazer as entradas rápidas, tá ligado? Vamos focar na agilidade depois, que eles só travaram nossos 2 primeiros rounds. Só tô falando pra vocês não começar a entrar em noia de mudar muito o que a gente faz, porque vai dar certo. Só tem que fazer muito bem feito, tryhardar full, tipo, botar energia nas paradas que a gente precisa fazer como time, não parar de solucionar problema, e é isso, guys, não desistir. Fechou?
Bora, porra. Vamos que vamos.
Unfortunately, I did not catch much of that Portuguese.
I heard what I thought was like combi or combo, and I thought it could be the attacker lineup. You know what combo they're gonna run? I don't know. Not a clue, to be honest.
I got to say, though, just to remark on what happened that round, I think you were absolutely right about the Hibana. Really well countered by DZ. I think after this next round, we might see that mirror ban come out from FURIA, because with that mirror ban, it'll be much easier to use the tin can openers. You might wonder why aren't they just bringing the secondary heart breach gadget, and why are they running Hibana? Why aren't they bringing Maverick? Well, the difference is with a mirror window on the wall, when you're having a melee ranged heart breach, you're going to get C4'd.
Yeah, you are. Or even just shot. Like, there's so many things that can go wrong effectively. And the mute jammers then double down with the mirror. Then you can't even explode the X-Kairos to begin with. So you gotta get the EMPs in there, but then it's that impact tricking regardless, and it's like keeping, like, it's just a mess.
It's just a good combo of tech. I mean, so much of Siege these days, it's not about we bring one specific operator. It's about the combo and how they complement together. I can see that Maria Benino, our Brazilian woman on the inside, she is typing right now.
All right, we'll wait for her confirmation of what was said there from the side of FURIA. I'm sure it's gonna be similar to the first time. Momentum, pacing, control, confidence, because that's their whole playstyle. And they're looking for that right now. Block up in a wall, send Volps on in. Once it's, oh, okay, you can Volt through.
There's a lot of map to take here, of course. It's basement bomb site here.
Just a bit of fake barricades upstairs and know that it's gonna be clear. Check all the corners, have Loira on the Solid Snake with the gadget, checking for intel. DC are all playing on the first floor, and then a single player, of course, in the basement itself. And FURIA making good progress. First 60 seconds, they got full top floor control with the bug. They can break the floor and take it step by step. But Kino's found his way upstairs, straight into a blitz.
Yeah, almost gets damage onto Volps. It would have been deadly had he got that injure, or at least a large amount of damage onto the blitz, but he had to back away or be vulnerable to the flashbang. So he falls on back. And it looks like the roam is going to be trying to retreat here for DZ. We do have a call from Maria. They're literally repeating the same comp and the same order they used before. They're going to counter our split by putting a mirror down there. I pause so we don't do something. That was not our plan. Let's go for a full hunt upstairs, and after banning mirror, we'll do the split. We'll focus on being more agile after. Just don't get in your heads. Don't change too much what we're doing, because it's going to work, and don't give up. That's a great call. Here comes the execute and the hunt. That reduct in that tactical timeout was talking about, and while it does find one kill onto J9O, it's not without a cost. DarkZero able to convert a second one as well, as he gets active down the stairs into cargo. And the blitz is on the verge of the bomb site here as smoke goes out, and the plant looking to be poised for FURIA.
The smoke could be a trap, though, because it's a bit of a gap in it, but no, DarkZero finds all 3 kills, hurts with a 4th as well.
Huge round from DarkZero once again. He runs down the stairs, finds his first pick. Kino up against 4. He's being hunted by the blitz, and the hunt is on for the Panthers. The big cats are here to play, and on the back of that tactical timeout, they play it out to a T. Here comes the operator bans, and as Reduct had mentioned, we know exactly what's coming here for FURIA. It's goodbye Mira.
Mira's gonna be so done for. On the flip side, what do you ban? Is it gonna be the Solid Snake for home clear? Is it gonna be one of those few shield operators? Is it gonna be, you know, I don't know. That's honestly all I can think of right now, because it hasn't been a matter of like Capital Grim and regular utilities. It is about the fighting. Your Solid Snake, your Deimos. There it is. It's gonna be the Solid Snake in response. I mean, Reduct with such a good, clear take on what the guys are doing wrong, and also praising what they're doing well. Do not change too much around. It's gonna work, especially with the mirror. Don't get in your heads whatsoever. Just gotta survive this final attack round before the mirror is gone. And then right here again, the rookie, DarkZero, opens up with Volps, finds the first interfrag, and then covers the plant during 2 separate gunfights. And I'm saying the smoke could be a bit bad, because the smoke grenade was so close in the door itself that you can be in the doorway and DarkZero can't see you. And we see once again from NGR right there, kind of slamming his chair.
A bit of frustration.
On the first map, he was just really aggressive, body language as well. So much frustration again and again and again.
Well, technically, NJR has been on this team the longest out of anyone, 5.5 years. Wow. We have to admit that DarkZero is a very different DarkZero to what we had 6 months ago. It's kind of the spiritual successor to that SSG roster that new as J9O and Fultz and Call Out, their coach, has played on for a very long time. It was basically like SSG moved to DZ and kept NJR. Yeah. And then shortly after, they also brought over Kino as well, who was previously on M80. For their major run in Munich last year.
They were like, we need a shield player. Who could we get, huh?
Who could we possibly bet? How about the second best shield player in North America?
Oh, the second best?
Spirits, man.
Oh, okay. Fair play. I was gonna say,
Kino's certainly battling for that combo now.
I mean, is Spirit's here? Is he playing right now? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. You can't deny the guy who's won the last 2 majors. The only player who's won these last 2 majors in a row with 2 different teams, by the way. Very few players can say that for any major or any event. Winning 2 back-to-back from different teams. It's good adaptation here for FURIA as they hunt for a little bit more.
Again, I think the opening pick is always going to tell the most important story about that momentum, about just slowly start to suffocate your opponent in the server. Pre-fire comes through, Geno takes a ton of damage from Laura downstairs, but no kill confirmed. Volts finds Volps though, as I say it. So FURIA once again starting from the back foot, but operator-wise, losing the striker, the recruit operator, not the biggest loss to suffer. The Grim is there, the Demo's there, they still got 4 Incandelas, and they find a trade again, DarkZero.
Yeah, good with that Reaper, isn't he? Allows him the flexibility. Yeah, he did actually. Allows him the flexibility to run that shotgun primary as well and still be confident in mid-range gunfights with that auto pistol. Good drone from Lawyer as well. Is going to push NJR back. I think he's realized it's about time to fall out of that mezzanine. Not going to be able to hold on to it for any longer. Especially after the Azami has gone down. Here comes the explosive execute from DarkZero with the flashbangs, enabling his team to take this space. What are you doing, Volts? A very uncommon mistake for such an experienced player to expose his back to a common angle. And now FURIA have the numbers advantage. They are poised to pounce onto the bomb site. Good retaliation though from Newers as he gets detected by the Deimos. Will try and evade it to the best of his ability. Can't do so as of yet. Loira will look to hunt him from below, and so he finds a safe haven on hard floor.
One issue right now is that Diaz has the last final hard destruction, but he's on the wrong side of the map. He cannot use it for cattle grafters, so Hers is stuck in the back position. Deimos is stuck downstairs, and Diaz himself can't really go for a gunfight. Meanwhile, Diffuser is down inside of IT, but Diaz does find that one pick on Zakino. That changes everything.
I think they have a bit of an idea of where Newers is as well. They saw him, and now with the Deimos tracker, they're going to see him again. They know he's trapped inside a con. It's going to be a tough way to try and survive this here. Newers all the way punished inside of Electrical in a 1v3. The pistol comes out. The DMR needs to be reloaded. He goes for it now. As Herds has picked up that diffuser and gotten into the bomb site. Herds, why are you going for the kill? You had the defuse. All you needed to do was plant. It's the biggest throw I've seen from FURIA in this tournament. The clutch from DZ, unnecessary mistake from Herds.
That him boxed in, literally in a box. Deimos striker, frag grenade, Baba only get on the door for full intel on the sound cues. No way you should lose that if you're FURIA.
That is a blatant troll from Herds.
He walked in, diffuser in hand, looking for a fight, wasn't high on the HP meter either. Super disadvantageous spot to take. That could have been a simple round. Walk in, hold F, win the round, celebrate, boom, you go next. Instead,
bro's trapped.
Now you're down 1-3. Look at it right there. So unnecessary, so uncharacteristic as well.
I can't believe that. And look, for Newers to not panic too much, not overpeak, the fact that he was essentially like, if Herds had played that right, Newers just would have lost.
Yeah.
Right? You know, he would have stayed and hidden, and then it's a post plant, and then they're waiting for him, he has to move, and he doesn't win. But because he kind of played slowly, played patiently, didn't think, okay, I have to make a move now, otherwise I lose, that gave him the chance to win. And with that, I mean, FURIA have thrown away a round that was very convincingly theirs.
I mean, that was their opportunity to tie it up 2-2 and change that momentum that we keep speaking about, right? Gain back some of that confidence. Now it's going to be, oh my god, we won. Oh my god, we lost. Frustration once again.
DZ need every single defense round they can get. They only won defenses on that first map. And against Weibo as well, it was their attack where they struggled. So getting given that free round there for DZ, thanks to the clutch from Newers and the mistake from Herds, is a gift, a huge gift from the Brazilians to the North American squad. And now they take that gift and they wrap it up, tie it up in a nice bow, and go to Kitchen, this tertiary bomb site. We saw them play against Weibo.
Yeah, they love to play this one. And again, I think it's only really playable with the Clash on the board. Fort's one of the best Clash players at this event, maybe the best Clash player. Supported by both the Wamai and the Jaeger for just countering any sort of projectiles coming his path. Early C4 as well from Kino, takes almost the entire health bar away from Volps, down to about, what, 15% of his health bar now. Has to be worried about every bit of damage. Goes for a swing, goes down. Is that FURIA feeling the frustration and just saying, screw it, let's risk it all? Because that is not a fight you want to take.
No, I mean, it's 2 rounds in a row we've had someone get completely ego checked here from FURIA.
Okay.
Maybe shoot it. Maybe just get rid of that. Thank you. Very nice. ADS taken down. FURIA, after finding that kill under J9, in theory, can recompose, but be careful because Kino's retaken the top of blue stairs. He knows the diffuser's right outside. And shotgun in close range if Diaz gets up close.
I think they're reading into it though, but Diaz needs help. He can't just play this. And the thing is, Kino's on a jammer, and he's also tanked the first hooker because he cannot be called again.
Grimbees, though, will be able to expose him.
Yeah, they will.
Diaz needs to use it. The mute jammer no longer prevents the Grimbees from getting that info. Oh, wow, what a shot. Despite the air jab, NJR still weaves the angle onto DarkZero.
Oh, hello there.
Kino trying to retreat on back. Herds is watching for his position. It's good night to Herds again. Loira and Diaz, the last two remaining. And DZ now on the tertiary bomb site. Look to surely finish this round off. Finally, the Bees come out, but it's far too late here for FURIA.
And Kino and NJR right now saving DarkZero. 60 seconds to play with. Still winnable, though, I will say. Especially if Newers goes down inside that games room first. He's sitting at 6-1 scoreline, ready for a fight. The drone missed him, jumps up, and now spots him. But there is a crossfire, and right behind him is the bomb site.
Yeah, NJR's got his back. Newers doesn't have to swing until he receives contact from his teammate. NJR might overpeak a little bit too much. He certainly doesn't need to. Vert from up above from Kino shows another layer of the defense here for DZ as Newers will find that kill. It's the crossfire played to perfection by DarkZero. Now they start to run away with it. It's 4-1 in the lead. If this becomes 5-1, then that loss of Herds from 2 rounds ago will haunt them for the rest of Nighthaven Labs.
Maybe we're at a point right now for FURIA where they have to change the gameplay approach because they're being shot down in the early entries, not winning enough individual gunfights because that playstyle maybe too simplistic. DC had the adaptation, had the read, and I really want to praise NJR and Kino individually fighting back so much in that round, doing all the heavy lifting. Call out watching behind the boys very proudly. 4-1 lead for DC as they enter the final round in the first half. And they're bringing out a new set of operators. Now they're on the Denari with the Thorn, with the Ela, a lot of trap utility. And they got a bit of verticality intel in the post, the solo lurking with the shotgun. J9 on the Asami, as she must have on every single bomb site. And it's giving FURIA again a new problem that they might not feel that they have the adaptation to go up against.
Yeah, and as you said, Pengu, as you often say, every single game the best teams in the world play, essentially each half has 2 halves in it. It's before and after that third operator ban. DZ really leaned into the Ace Thermite ban by playing that mirror and making sure that those walls were so troublesome to open up. FURIA struggled with it. Redux in the tactical timeout said, guys, it's okay, don't worry about that. Once the mirror ban comes through, our plan A should work like a charm. And it did that first round until Hertz threw the round away. Now DZ are saying, okay, now it's time to really lean into our plan B, which is this excessive usage of traps. And especially on a split bomb site like this, where there is so much map up for grabs on the top floor and the basement to try and deny the bomb site, FURIA have so many things to think about, so many avenues into the map to worry about. And no Solid Snake to try and take that free map control for Loira.
So they're back on the glass. The demos, the Dokkaebi, different ways of finding information, but they require red ping or smoke grenade to be enabled. This is going to be more about that split theory. Its attackers very much alone in many different positions, all going for a bit of a fishing play, looking for that gap, looking for a kill. Demo Striker gives you the advantage.
Oh, good damage.
Newer swings back with confidence. He gets the kill, so does Kino, so does NJR. They find 3 quick ones.
The great strategy, but only if you win your battles, and DZ have won every single one of them so far. Aggressive play, J9 outside the building. I don't know what happened there, but he gets punished. It's a lifeline for FURIA, but barely. Diaz inside the bomb site, no defuse. As that's cold on the ground. They know exactly where he is. It's just him and Volps again separated. NJR has an angle to try and crossfire in his position. Now Volps can scan him completely. Say he's right here, just in that room. Newers says, maybe I'll go for the swing. It's going to be a 5-1 half. A domination on the defensive side for DZ. As FURIA, they had their moment, they had their chance, and they threw it away. For what? For ego. To go for the swing instead of to go for the plant. And when the first stone fell, it only took a moment before it became an avalanche, before DZ could run away with this half and look for the comeback that they could not achieve on Lair. 4v1, Volps, good luck, my friend. It ain't happening today. It ain't happening any day. DarkZero dominate 5-1 in the first half and are well on their way to a comeback as we move into the halftime role swap timeout.
Falo pra vocês, a gente não tem nenhum controle do que aconteceu. A gente não tem como voltar atrás e ganhar um round ou resolver alguma coisa que já aconteceu. Vamos fazer o seguinte, vamos ser full foco, full concentrado no que a gente precisa fazer, full concentrado no que a gente conversa todo dia, de fazer o que tá no nosso controle a partir de agora. Eu vou passar os planos pra gente, esquece essa porra. Guys, é 2 rounds que a gente ganhar, eles já se peidam todo, eles vão pausar, a gente vai ganhar a partida de volta, guys. Esquece o placar, vamos fazer o que a gente costuma fazer normalmente, tá ligado? Tranquilo, guys, foda-se, tá ligado, o que aconteceu até agora. Vou falar o que a gente vai fazer, só foca na minha voz e vamos fazer acontecer, fechou? Então comigo nessa? Então bora,
lógico.
Guys, a gente vai fazer o Bantermite e o Green. Aí de primeiro round a gente vai fazer aquela coisinha com a mira em cima se passar. Se não passar, você vai de mute. Quando acabar a fase de preparação, você vai descer pilha pra marotar no cara que joga de baixo de Sofia. Lembra que
Eu vou de Warden, né?
Sim, você vai de Warden de 12 pra elétrica. Depois, guys, a gente vai fazer a hold garagem no bombo de baixo. A gente tem o Amai que vai...
On that basement attack, where you're going, like, we do the fucking prep that we have, we're going on Expo, he does like to put a mirror on, like, the internal wall close to the lab door, if that makes sense. So, like, the one that can see...
Yeah.
You can just fuck with that with the Ivana. That's why I was saying the Ivana's gonna be pretty good for that. Like, so just keep that in mind. Outside of that, fellas, the only thing on this attack side, like I said, that I want to see, we're going to fucking see something, we're going to decide, we're going to commit, we're going to repeat that every single round, throughout every single round. That's it.
Yeah.
See, decide,
can make a repeat.
That's it, fellas. Cutting them down. We call it fucking somebody's pull. We need to go now. We're all...
Again, about that commitment from DarkZero and a classic fashion, lose the first map. We start questioning what's going to happen next. They go in the second, look much stronger, so adaptable, and an ability to survive when the backs are against the wall. They need that pressure to thrive, it seems like, James.
That they do, they really do. Like diamonds be forged under the pressure. We've seen it from them before. No doubt we'll see it again. DZ up 5-1. And after that miraculous 1v3 clutch from Newers, all the life has been sacked out of FURIA, but not sapped out of their fans who continue making noise here in the arena at the Esports World Cup in Paris. We need that energy inside the server to see them come back from the 5-1 deficit.
Bandikaid, the Grim, the Thermite.
No ace ban, so it's not quite the same story as we saw from DZ.
Not exactly, and I am a fan of banning one hard breacher and then one utility operator if you're up against a team that will play utility, because that's the issue. DC are not just good at breaching or good at executing. They're kind of good at everything, most things at least, right? Where FURIA, we talk about their lethality, their ability to get kills and create space, not about executing necessarily with like very accurate precision. So they recognize DC, we gotta weaken them across the board. The plant, the early game, the mid game. See what they can do. They got the mirror on the board from Hertz. They got time denial on the Goyo and the smoke. They got a Warden to counter any of those Ying.
Nothing here is
operator.
Nothing here is uncounterable though from FURIA, and because of the lack of that ace ban, DZ won't worry so much about hard breach. They can bring the ace and they can bring some tin can openers as well, and the Zafir, even the Ying if they want to, instead of smokes, which in this case, in fact, they will double up. So you've got so much redundancy from DZ. We saw this against Weibo as well. They like to bring a lot of hard breach. Even with that mirror up, it should be counted pretty handily. We do have a quick translation as well as the spawn pick looks to come out from Volps of the tactical timeout, or rather the halftime timeout from down from Maria, minha amiga. We can't go back and fix something that already happened. We need to stay fully focused and concentrate on what we can control and what we can talk about every day. If we do win 1 or 2 rounds, they're already going to start shitting themselves.
Nice.
What happened up until now? I'm going to tell you what we're going to do, and that's it. Are you with me on this? Play mirror upstairs, mute Warden with the 12 on electric. I don't know what he means by the 12. Hold garage on the basement bomb with Wamai.
Okay. So actually a fair bit of utility be mentioned there. The mirror with the Wamai,
The mute is,
down.
however, not present, though that was mentioned.
Changing max.
Well, you can't get it all right the first time. Gotta be space for improvement, okay? No one's a 10 out of 10. You care about 9.5. You leave that bit at 0.5 wiggle room and you strive for, or you look for perfection.
Look, I am always down for a bit of a Goyo instead of a mute. Just the gun is diff, bro. The vector.
I like this.
Actually, it's not even a vector, it's a TCSG.
I mean, of course it'll be TCSG. The Sophia buff happened recently with a third explosive charge, or 3 big booms go
And
up.
there they are.
Find Laura, they take down the smoke. One of the most valuable operators on the defensive side for this round. That is an uncounterable one-sided affair. There's nothing you can do about it except for being worried about beneath you, sending down a lurker, or not playing upon that soft floor. But the issue is with this bomb side up top, it's all soft floor. There's almost no area except for a small area of commando that's actually going to be a hard surface.
So it'll be an execute onto the rafters. NJR finds one straight into the building for Kino. He's in the bloody bomb site. Nitro Cell needs to get active here for Diaz, but he's been shut down. It's a 1v5 retake for Herds. This would be the moment for him to redeem himself, but it's not to be. He gets shot out, shut down. DZ, map points on Nighthaven Labs. It feels like we've barely gotten started here on the second map, and DZ are already ready to finish it.
And they did indeed commit. The opening pick, 3-1 push together, and despite the fact that one of those attacking members got fired off in the catwalk rafters, they didn't stop the push. Kino said, guys, it's too late. I got a full commit, so they push Aqua, they push that garage rotate to get another pick up, and that's it. The only death that happened on that attacking side was the flanking a 1v5 from Hertz was downstairs. Not even close. I mean, that is a flawless round.
It is indeed. And it's exactly what DZ needed. Now, FURIA are a very good team on Bank. They've even beaten FaZe World Champions just a few weeks ago in the SAL. DZ played it just last week against COG, beat them. So if we do get to Bank, which at the moment is looking extremely likely, I think it'll be a very hard contest. DZ, though, like, the better the scoreline here is on map 2, we know that that'll affect the momentum of FURIA. Now, we are allowed to admit it, DZ are not a very momentum-based team. Despite what happened with the 7 rounds in a row against them on map number 1, I think DZ have one of the best mentals in the game. They're very detached, they're very meditative. They love to say, fuck the narrative, forget about the storylines, all that stuff. But FURIA, on the flip side, they are the most momentum-based team, right? Like, as soon as Hertz threw that round in the first half, like, it has been
mental
over.
boom.
Absolutely.
You can probably make the argument, just for the sake of it, that DC are momentum-based team in the sense that they can take control in a chain of rounds, but they're not dependent on momentum to thrive. They do have that adaptability, survivability.
But I think FURIA are. So if FURIA lose this map 7-1, it'll be a lot harder for them to bounce back on Bank. If they end up coming back a few rounds here, we see a 7-3, 7-4 in favor of DZ, I would have a lot more faith in FURIA.
We talk about momentum. Another term for this also emotional state of players, right? If you get a bit upset about the current results, you can just stay mentally calm and composed, as DC tend to. Mirror window not fully broken though. It kind of missed the mark there. There is a second Ash breach in pocket, also maybe a touch run available. But instead they pop the window, a smoke goes through, they're gonna jump on. I don't think they do a full send it.
Very aggressive, straight into the plant position here. Kino still able to go for the plant, but no, it's actually the Thorn Trap there from Volbs that gets the kill and the confirmation with the weapon as well. DZ with the injure onto DarkZero, and now the frag onto both Herds and Diaz. Have opened up the gates to look for a second attempt, but they will need someone to go and recollect that diffuser, which has been locked down in the bomb site. 2 smokes on J9O to potentially enable that in the late round. But first, they'll just bide their time. This could be a free kill. J9O missed his chance.
With the smokes, as mentioned, could just go back downstairs, go for a re-attempt, but at the same time, a bit risky getting stuck in the middle of a plant, right? So they want to get for a bit more map control. Want to try and play for a pick.
1v1.
The hallway, lose that fight, jumps in the window.
Oh, careful there. J9O crucially needed to win that fight. All up to Loira now to try and save the map. Out comes a C4, but no, he goes down. And it is NJR to lock in a domination. 7-1 for DarkZero at the end of the second map. We're going to need to go to a third here, Pengu. Otherwise, we will not have
Allegiant Gauntlet in Paris, France. Our final map of the series, and let's send it over to none other than Dev and Pengu.
Thank you very much, Rain Day. And yes, this is the final map of our semi-final here between FURIA and DarkZero. And as we look to cook up a storm, DZ have been cooking all tournament long. They weathered the storm of 7 rounds against them in a row on Lair, only to respond in kind with a 7-1 on Nighthaven Labs. FURIA have been ringing true with their drums between maps.
Yeah, they have.
As now we look for the operator ban phase here, Pengu, and it looks like we're going to see more hard breach taken away from the FURIA side by DZ.
Oh, I love this, right? We see this earlier in the tournament from Wildcard. The double-ranged hard breach ban, the ace and Hibana, enabling the top 4 bomb side. It's the NA special, I guess, at this event. And also FURIA paying respect. The Clash finally being targeted here on towards Foltz. It's only a matter of time. I mean, honestly, I thought first bet was going to happen.
I think you have to get rid of that clash. Look, another point that you mention often, Pengu, about that double ranged hard breach ban, the ace and Hibana, it's not just good on the top floor, also very good on the basement, because it enables you to put these Vulcan canisters from Goyo on the hatches. When you put them in the middle of the hatch, then you can't actually breach those hatches with an exothermic charge from Thermite or with a tin can opener. The only way to breach it is to shoot the Goyo off first, which delays 20 seconds. So a great little time delay tactic that I expect we'll see from NJR, particularly on that admin hatch inside of the A bomb side. However, he's a little bit late on his setup. No, actually, he's already put down all of his Vulcan canisters, so he's actually not going to go for it. That's a little bit of a surprise to me.
No, you can only call that if you're a former pro player, and otherwise they won't listen to you.
Yeah, apparently not. Never mind. Hey, I played the Pro League qualifiers in APAC.
Back in the day.
For the very first season of OS Pro League, I played the qualifiers.
And you couldn't even qualify back then when there were literally no competition.
Okay, technically, I played all the scrims up until the qualifiers, and on the day of the qualifier, I had a family holiday to Queensland, and I was off in the rainforest.
So you weren't committed enough to become a pro player?
Well, yeah. And then, I mean, I coached like a top 4 OS team for
I coached a top 5 OS team once.
Really? Which one was that?
That's a good question.
You know what's funny?
Do you remember the name Scrivy?
I do remember the name
Scrivy's team at one point.
Yeah. You also actually did a VOD review for my team.
Oh.
Yep. I will have to look back somewhere if I have it in my old Discord DMs.
Yeah.
But that Pro League, the not Pro League team, the one that I tried to qualify with,
yeah,
we sent you a scrim VOD and you sent us like your notes breaking it down. And I will remember this to this day. Your note was, you guys don't really know how to play the round, but Jaeger just ran around and got a 3K, so you won. And that was me. I was that Jaeger.
You're the Jaeger.
I did it.
You're running around getting all the kills.
But not knowing how to play the game properly.
But not knowing how to play the game. So what you're saying is that my coaching was bad?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Well, no, not at all. I mean, I think I just realized that I had a lot more fun casting and talking about people that were playing the game far better than I am.
But how do you... So I feel like a lot of people would ask you, like, how would you figure out if you like casting? Because you don't really get to cast until you do it. Like, how do you... Because everyone plays the game.
I did do it. Like, I did community casts, and I played in like the crappy community tournaments, and I cast at the crappy community tournaments, and I.
Why are they crappy? What was?
Well, because like we're not very good.
Oh,
right? We were playing for
okay.
like nothing. not even like not even R6 credits. Not even like it was for fun. It was for fun. Okay. It was a good time, but like we weren't pro or anything. I think my salary was a little bit below Spoit's at that time.
Just a little bit.
Just a little.
And now it's obviously higher.
Obvious.
Right? I mean, Spoit didn't make it very far this event.
I mean, I'm here on semi-final day, and Spoit isn't.
No. And I feel like you should get paid based off the placement in tournaments. Very simple.
Yeah.
Make it far, make the big bucks. You go home early, you don't make the big bucks.
That's what prize pool is,
Yeah, but often, like if you were to do like the comparison salaries, that's often probably also the case, right?
Yeah.
The best teams get paid the most money. They make it furthest usually.
I mean, Shopify Rebellion got first rounded.
They went to a grand final.
Didn't even make it. At
Salt Lake City, which you didn't work Salt Lake City. They made the grand final. Maybe you're the curse. You're the problem.
Yeah, but now
you might get bought out and you won't have a job soon.
Yeah, now I'm here and they've gone. What can I say? Swings and roundabouts. What goes around comes around, Pengu. And we've gone around and finally rehosted this game, so we're back into it. Thank you for bearing with us and listening to a little bit of nostalgia. It looks like DZ will go for the same thing. Where do you think he's going to put those Goyo charges as a pro player?
Wow. Now that they showed us that they weren't going to do it in the hatch, now they will. Because it's about the mind games and changing those small adaptations, right? Because they know that the attackers of FURIA, they droned out the roam setup. They saw there was not a canister on the hatch, and therefore he will now do it. Except he didn't.
They're not even reinforcing
Except
that hatch.
He didn't.
They have 2 Rios spare. It's interesting to see, like, I guess
the server hatch and A hatch is both soft right now.
Yeah, they just
Usually you would get the server hatch at least, because you very rarely can flank back down that avenue. But it could also be that if they don't have a player in server at all, they can then backstab it. But I mean, what's Kino going to do if not the on server stairs? That's always where he's thriving.
Yeah, and FURIA can actually just open those hatches now, the soft hatches, with their DMRs. It takes just a couple of bullets to open those hatches. You don't even have to worry about using the tin can openers from Loira and Bok.
Solid Snake, always high in value on the main staircase.
Look at him
So
go.
much. He goes back down the staircase, actually, all the way to the basement.
Very Herds style play. He does want to find the gap, but it's a drop down into the bomb site from
skip the roam clear.
Volbs. They are indeed completely skipping the roam clear. He's now worried about that push inside the bomb site. NGR finds one, traded back by Volbs, but he can't go much deeper now. He might be able to look for a plant, but the retake will be coming his way very shortly. There is no safe place to plant. The cover looking to happen here from Loira. Volbs will try and go deep, finds a kill onto Foltz now. 3v3. DZ continue battling on the retake. Kino to get the injure and the kill finally. With the gas babe onto Loira. Volbs low HP, very vulnerable, but Diaz from the backstab. Kino wasn't aware of his exposure, and now it's all up to Diaz. With J90 finding what was remaining of Volbs, so for some reason, Nuas looks for a bit of an aggressive peek, I think flushed out from the fire, and now Diaz does find himself in a 1v1. After this time ticks away, this is so winnable.
Hit the reset, 20 seconds of fire burning out right now. There's so much time to work. Diaz, the smart thing, hops on his drone that's outside the building, can drive into any position that he desires, gets off the cam to play for sound cue. Okay, doesn't hear J90, gets back on the camera. Again, playing it very smart. He's got a final line scan to work with. Ideally right now for Diaz, he has to get the drone in an active intel position. Right now there's the hatch watching the hallway, so that's clear. That means that either he's going to be on the B chassis or on the side of gold to his right hand side.
He's got the E1D as well to give him info. Oh, he's got the read. That drone work is perfection from Diaz. So patient in the 1v1. He uses his last remaining drone. He lets it go undetected. And his teammate pings out the final position in that 1v1. It's beautiful.
Honestly, I mean, there's two big heroes DC, though, or at least attempting to be the hero. NGR somehow traded 1-for-1. Impact grenade, took down Hertz, then got killed by Volb shortly after. And then Kino, shotgun swing on the bomb set in a 1v1, also giving DC a fighting chance. It only really falls apart when Newers has to go into an awkward location because of the Goyo fire being popped from the final grenade off Diaz. And then it's DMR versus Slug Shoddy. That is going to be a 50-50. Anyone can win that round. One has higher fire rate, one has more damage, but Diaz was the better player in that moment.
Yeah, the info from the drones, perfection. The coordination from his teammates there. The FURIA boys on that cam, no doubt giving him that call, that's giving him that ping on where that final player was. Good start there from FURIA. We know Bank is an attacker-sided team. But if I'm not wrong, DZ would have gotten to choose the starting side on this map as they have the better round differential over the two maps we've played so far. So they want to go defense. Historically have been better on defense in the quarterfinals. They also went 5-1 on their defense on Nighthaven Labs. Didn't win a single attack on Lair, so perhaps it's just what they're feeling a little bit more comfortable on today.
Again, I mean, you can follow the paper, go for counterplays, adaptations. That defense will be a nice spot to be in. Also, you get the hard side out of the way, in a way as well. Because typically we see, attacker favored, as you mentioned. FURIA now, though, on top floor attack. This is where things get a little tricky because that AC banner band, that's very unusual. You cannot open up the top elevator wall, not possible. So often teams that will either go for one or two playstyles. One, heavy on the windows. 3 people right now. They're gonna have both the Capture Fire, Sophia Concussions, and they're gonna have the Sense Walls to kind of like shroud them to give them a way in towards the bomb site. The other option, you go for a Janitor Stock attack. But right now, it's just gonna be from the exterior. Slowly peeling away the layers, the laser gates, the castle barricades, but a misstep there from Hertz, but he does get the jump done at the end.
Perhaps he was just checking for any extra on my magnets. But yeah, good work there. The
possible, yeah.
Soph is the perfect counter hit to the castle and the Aruni as it can burn through so much util before eventually detonating and opening up that wall. A lot of measuring here from FURIA before they make their first incision. It's Herds who deals the first blow. Foltz exposed. He goes down. The clash band out means that Foltz can't hide behind that shield like he would usually want to do.
That is the thing that is going to make this defense so much more challenging. There's no Asami. The Casaberg is dealt with. Diaz is so quick to jump off the camera. They're taking a little bit of damage from Newers. Playing at a quad window room.
Good info.
Yeah, it's very good info. Sees two different defenders saying, guys, there's only going to be 2 members holding you from the skylight side, from janitors, probably from meeting. There could be a gap in stock, could be a rappel in the bomb side. But for FURIA, I think right now they're just risk assessing it. Do we want to just go for the 3-2-1 all or nothing play, or do we try and stretch this advantage to be even bigger?
The more that they bide their time, the more that they look for different gaps, the more likely they will find the one gap that they can enter. But no, in this case, Herds oversteps his welcome a little bit. Vulnerable to Newers. Here comes the util into the box site. It's the light walls from DarkZero on the Sens, and the fire and smoke util from Volps, but he still hasn't repelled into the building. They feel like they need one more kill before they can make their move, but they haven't been given the chance to get it yet. DarkZero in the building takes down the most deadly player, the DMR from Newers, and here come the kills. Here come the rains for FURIA. 2 rounds on the attack in a row.
Incredible. FURIA, they finally changed their playstyle. They took a good, 60 seconds? They say, hold, let's talk about this. How are we going to win the round? There's gonna be Hurt. I'm gonna try and go for a kill right now. He dies. Then no hesitation. The light wall, the fire, the jump on in, get the kill, watch the C4, then go for a plant while the other people are fighting 3v1. And attack timeout, I just got told from DC.
Good?
Yep. We're going to do it manually.
Okay.
We'll let you know when 10 seconds remaining.
Okay. Yeah. Listen, we can go for the open layered hard zone right now. Quite frankly, on basement, I don't think they're going to hit site again. They may try to ISO off garage. If you're comfortable like rerunning like a similar roam pattern off that, I think it'd be good. Or we could even go into fucking the actual prep off that. It really doesn't matter, but I think they're probably going to clear. And then for CEO, quite frankly, I would anticipate window shit again and maybe paired with square. The biggest thing off that, let's actually show a presence below before we come back up top on them. Just like slow down the Damos a little bit and come back and float, and then just play a discipline. Like they just milked for literally 2.5 minutes and did nothing.
Yeah,
pretty solid. And then just towards these late rounds when shit's like, you know, don't start just like rambling about what the fuck they're doing. Like just keep it calm. Like we're gonna be in a better position than 9 out of 10.
Yes. Yeah, facts. Let's run up on them.
Heard.
Let's go.
Where we going then?
Boy. Let's do the open later hard zone directly in the cave.
Let me see.
Both of them call out some small notes to different bomb sites. And just understand that, hey guys, they're doing a lot of nothing that round for 2.5 minutes. Just gonna float downstairs first, show a presence, then fall back. They're gonna be low on the clock. And all saying like we can do similar stuff. It's not massive changes needed from DC, it's small adaptations.
Yeah, and a lot of it comes down to communication. I thought that was a really interesting
And don't ramble.
Yeah, don't ramble about what they're doing in the late round, because that happens sometimes. Like if you're sitting there and nothing has happened for 30 seconds, or you see some util toss out, you might start to thinking, hey guys, I think they're flipping. I think but you're trying to read it, you're trying to game sense it, right? And Call Out said, guys, don't ramble, don't worry, don't overthink it. Sometimes you just got to sit back and wait for it. It's a very true thing in Rainbow Six. I mean, it's one of the FPS games, one of the esports titles that is the most split between mechanics and mental, like the strategy behind it. It's such a 50-50 split, right? Like there are certain titles we have here at the event which definitely favor the physicality of it more, like the mechanics of like Counter-Strike or Call of Duty.
The brains of chess.
Right, and then the opposite of that is the strategy of something like chess, you know? It's not about the mechanics nearly as much as it is about that strategy. And here we have this thing where, funnily enough, one can distract from the other. If you spend too much time thinking, theorizing, are they going to go for this, execute, that execute, it actually affects your aim when they swing in the window and you're not ready for the angle holding the DMR. And the vice versa as well. You spend too much time not thinking about anything, but peeking everything, then you're not going to read the game right.
We share a green room right now with the chess talents. We see the games, and you fell into conversation with one of the casters on that game, or analysts, should I say, and you described Siege as chess boxing. Because you got the strategical side of it and the mechanical side of it as well. You need both to be the best teams here at the event.
100%. Yeah, it's like I said on one of the previous maps, the trifecta of Siege. It's the mechanics, the mental, and the strategy. And FURIA, I mean, they are extremely talented when it comes to the mechanics. They're pretty good when it comes to the strategy, and they are extremely hit and miss when it comes to the mental. Sometimes their mental can win them 7 in a row, sometimes it can lose them 7 in a row. So they seem to have found their footing here after that first round on the rush. Here comes the Monty trying to farm that top floor map control. DZ on the receiving end of it. You've got 3 players on this top floor trying to hold their crossfires.
Volp's in an awkward spot right now, very deep in the building as the Monty, but he's going to be just fine. His teammates locking down the flank there. Hurts doing a bit of vertical damage. We actually see the silhouettes of DC falling back from the top floor, surrendering map space, kind of step by step, saying, okay, Volps took a lot of damage, keep him alive, Volp on back.
No more top floor now.
Always watching that timer, 145. I will say this is pretty good pace though from FURIA. They got a little bit of soft destruction. Thatcher bringing soft breaching charges, can actually do enough verticality on this side. They brought the EMPs, of course, on the Thatcher for the hatch itself. The C4 popped. The thing is, it's going to be Volps on the Monty who has the can openers, and he is going in a completely different direction. He's in lobby right now. So the hatch leading to open area, not going to be opened up, James.
No. This really should be a free kill, though, for Volps.
You heard him.
Yeah, Volps is
gotta get the vert in there.
Completely exposed. This is going to be a free kill, surely, for Volps, especially if he knows how low Volps is. This is very risky indeed. We just need some pressure from the vert. Volps wants the chance, but no, on the exit. It's a free kill with the pistol. Loira can't take these long-range fights as he breaches holes in the wall with that shotgun.
He almost one-tapped JNO. Was he low on health already? Because
I think he might have almost one-tapped him.
That is ridiculous if that's the case. Gotta check the replay later on for that one.
A lot of damage there in the 612. That weapon packs a serious punch, but only in close range.
The thing is, right now, Monty could theoretically just walk in this double door and start yellow pinging where the defenders are and go for a plant. There's only one counterplay right now, a single toxic bait from Kino. That's not going to be enough to stop Volps on the Monty. This should be a plant round.
It should, but DarkZero is slowed down. Here comes the hard breach from Volps as well, onto that cafeteria wall. The entry from Loira in close range. The shotgun, does he check his corners? He does! Goodbye to J90! 4v3 now. Newers trapped in the bomb site. Has to make his flank as NJR and Kino are exposed. Newers will find his kill. Has he bought enough time for his team? Volps looks for that plan, but the coverage is there. It's perfection from Herds. Kino will go down. FURIA 3 straight on the attacking side. Bank is heating up and DZ are being left behind.
Such a good read again from FURIA. Again, massive respect that they go for the plant there. It's going to be one of those moments where they could just go for kills and they get a bit unlucky, bad timing, they lose a single gunfight because DarkZero did go down right before the Ying started rushing the building, or rather inside the site itself. So they leveraged the win condition much better. Mind you, that was Volps taking so much damage early on in the round as the Monty. He played it perfectly after that, even communicated with the Ying, getting that kill onto Volps instead of archives and tellers in a very safe fashion, not going for a solo play. It's a strange affair when we saw yesterday FaZe Team Liquid, El Clasico, super one-sided map 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Still relatively one-sided map 3. This has been a similar story, where one team will dominate the map, then it flips, we go the third, you're thinking super close. No, not really.
Yeah, I have to admit though, like a lot of these rounds have been close in the round themselves.
In the round itself.
Even though we had a 7-3, which was 7 in a row for FURIA, and then a 7-1 for DZ. Particularly on that first map of Lair, most of those rounds were very close. They looked very dire, and then a player from FURIA would get an insane 3K or 4K. On Nighthaven Labs, it was very close up until that loss from Herds with that throw in the 3v1. After that point, it became very dominant for DZ. And now, again, it feels like DZ are looking hot for a lot of the duration of these rounds, but then FURIA at the last moment come through. I mean, Diaz, let's not forget, he started this map off with a 1v2.
Yep.
It's been far more clutching here for FURIA than it has been for DarkZero.
I did see the replay there. It was also slowed down for me in slow motion, so thank you very much for did that. It was a 2-tap onto JNO with the Ying Shoddy. So 2 bullets at like 10-meter range.
Yeah.
Did 95% of his health bar. I mean,
it was a Kaid as well, right? So that would have killed most operators, except for a 3 armor or a 3 health operator.
That is
5 HP.
Pretty significant damage right there. That's the magic of LAN.
Totally.
LAN Siege hit reg is so incredible. You die so quickly in these gunfights. We saw news at a nasty flick also from the bottom of main stairs in towards the rotate to tellers. It's a very, very fast-paced action game when you get into the battle. And it's the beauty of the strategy that gets us there, right? Dealing with the Kite Claw, the C4, peeling back the roamers step by step, breaching open the necessary walls and or hatches. It's the combination of all of those things that makes a great round of Rainbow Six Siege. FURIA are leaning so much more into utility and anti-utility than we've seen from them on the first 2 maps. Now they got Thatcher once again, Capital, Grim. They're not playing for fights, but they are playing in ways that can help them getting kills in different avenues. That is
Oh my god! Wow, surely Herds wants to type in chat after that
That's
one.
a Herds moment.
Cool. He watches his flank, he's worried about a repeak, and look, that's not a bad call, DZ. Want to go for it! Faults on his retreat from that roam, looks to try and find one, and Loira goes down through the wall, but the damage has been done. And now Herds on that Deimos will target yet another player. It's Kino who's still roaming. All 3 players here from DZ on that first floor with NJR inside of blue. Bombsite is down in the basement, by the way. And there is no way that they can win this round in a traditional sense from the 3v4. DZ have to get creative.
Gotta find that one more kill. That's why they're sticking around for so long here in open area. Also supported by the Echo drones. Right now, they're using the Hertz Deimos tracker, just going once on every single defender, seeing if they're gonna be falling back. Kino taking damage, Fultz taking damage. So much pressure right now on towards DC, and they're being forced to fall back, leaving just NGR on the server staircase. So
one
now,
Yokai down.
if FURIA ends up going for that frontal attack that we're used to seeing from server, NGR could literally become the difference maker. But if he sticks around on the staircase, once this hatch is open, he's going to be on his own island. No way back towards the bomb site, so he's going to make that call now. NGR has joined them inside the red hallway. They're giving up server, they're giving up open area. It's going to happen in 3v4 fashion on the bomb site.
This is starting to look like 4 in a row here for the Brazilians. And the energy that they would get after that, the momentum they would take into the 5th and 6th rounds to close up this half would be insurmountable, surely. DZ, if there's any time to clutch up, it would be right now. To win this round here, finally get on the board would mean everything.
They don't know server is clear. That's literally, they're watching the flank still. They could just go in server, breach the wall, EMP the C4 smoke or Echo before they start planting.
They're in their drones.
But they do not know this. They think this is a play on server. They think they're attacking 4v2, but it's into a 4v3 with 2 separate attackers low on health.
Finally, that Yokai drone has been spotted, though DZ had so much information on where the push was coming from. Critical kill there for NJR. If he finds the second, it might just be the round to be won by DZ. FURIA running away at the last moment. Time is ticking down, and so are FURIA. As one by one they drop into the bomb site, they will fall. DZ finally make their way onto the scoreboard.
And this time, FURIA's indecisiveness, taking that 50 seconds of talking together, might have lost them the round. They assumed there was a player server stairs. They thought it wasn't going to be clear, but lack of droning, didn't have a shield operator, and they spent all their Deimos trackers so much early in the round, ensuring the map control for open area later on. That could have been as simple as you go server, you plant with the Thatcher, and there's almost no counterplay for the defense. Look, no trackers left here from Hertz on the Deimos. So they had no idea.
If NJR loses that fight on the main stairs, I gotta think FURIA win the round.
It's very possible.
Credit to Fultz as well. On that Echo, he did lose one Yokai very early and one with about 30 seconds left in the round, but it fed so much info to DZ to count bodies, figure out where FURIA were pushing. It's something we heard from Callout in their tactical timeout earlier. Sometimes you don't need to overcomplicate things. You don't need to yap about what you think they're going to play in a round. Just sit back, even in a 3v4, stick to your guns.
Difficulty of Bank can just be the bomb site rotation to win one side and you go to a weaker one. They're gonna go for a very uncharacteristic Tailors and Archives. So it plays out a little bit like you're playing CEO. You care about top floor up because if the attackers get top floor control, they get the Vert, they see the entire bomb site. That's why they got the ram here from DarkZero. The second thing is, once they get top floor control, which is like inevitable, you have to actually play away from the site itself, playing in main staircase, open area, bottom square, because the site itself is so vulnerable. There's no real good playable positions, especially with the Clash being counterbent away onto Fultz. So DC have to get a little bit creative and dig deep in this round. And honestly, looking at the current lineup, I'm looking at Fultz for information with the Echo, and look at Newers, who has that only DMR on defense. He has to be the difference maker. He has to try and find a kill at some point in this round because he's got the ACOG scope. He's gonna have a fair or maybe even advantageous gunfight on his side, but Kino's got SMG-11 shotgun. He's gonna only be able to take fights in very specific locations of the map.
IED active, sweeping perimeter.
With that last round won by DZ, it really does change the expectations of the context for the rest of this half, right? Like DZ, if they just find a second round, that's just
enough.
More than enough. If FURIA want to dominate like they were looking to, they need to win the next 2 rounds in a row, go 5-1 up before moving on to their defensive side. I will say good adaptations from FURIA. They've got the IQ, they've been spotting these cameras, and now they're actually targeting False with that Dockerby as well. They look to try and get into the bomb side directly. It was a curveball thrown by DZ to try and go to Teller's Archives, but FURIA are ripping them a new one. Herd straight into the bomb site for 2 kills. Now Volbs looks to try and get that plant down. It's New is being targeted by that Dockerby. Yet again, another player will lose his phone. New is that needs to have an impact, little bit of damage, but not enough done as of yet, as the retake is on, but not on enough. Herds has found another one on the round. It's NJR and J90 to try and bring this one back, with the players outside propelling on windows. There's nothing for DZ to do. It's a 4th on the board for FURIA. One more to dominate this half.
Solid Snakes showing exactly why it's such a problematic operator to defend against. Can always find the gap, can always know exactly where you're playing on the defensive side. That's all they needed. The initial kill. They're in the building. They find a second. Echo off the board. The plan is free. DarkZero never entered the building, James. He was on CEO in the rappel the entire time, using the boogie drone from outside the building. And he even found the kill when he tried to go for a retake up above, knowing that the win condition was going to be in the post. And the Vera could use that to great success. That is about the 4th round where Hertz has absolutely popped off. While he did sell a round on Nighthaven Labs, he has redeemed himself here on Bank.
He well and truly has. Herds now leading the way for his team. Deadly on the Deimos, even more so on the Solid Snake. DZ throwing every strat they have at FURIA. Every tertiary bomb site, quaternary bomb site in the case of Teller's Archives, a bomb site we never see picked. But the North Americans might have bitten off a little bit more than they can chew here. They were pushed deep in their quarterfinal against Weibo, but they overcame it because they were cooler, they were calmer, they stuck to their guns and their prep. FURIA have already taken down the NAL champions in Wildcard, and they did so without breaking a sweat yesterday. Now, against DarkZero, they look to take yet another scalp away from North America and qualify the first team into our grand final.
Can I be annoying?
Please.
2 days ago.
Yeah, I know. I knew that as soon as I said that, but
we had
thanks for... I had some grandiose I was trying to build up.
It was good. You did a great job, James. Normally, quarterfinals is 4 games for us, but at this event for EWC 26, it's been 2 separate days.
This entire event has been a fever dream. There's been so much Siege played over the last week and a half.
It's been some good stuff.
To think it culminates tomorrow.
A lot of upsets as well. I need one more prediction for the weapon skin in the predictions. I got 9 out of 10 for it.
Who'd you pick for this game?
I picked DC, that's the problem. They're looking the wrong way, but I got face later. They got me, okay? Don't worry about it. They always show up.
They may well. I mean, it could be a FaZe FURIA grand final. Who knows?
It's looking possible right now.
DZ certainly want to have a conversation about that narrative. They don't want to see that whatsoever. But Kino taking a lot of damage. Still the deadly Deimos down below of Loira. FURIA have slowly been making their way to talk up the pressure onto DZ. There's a roamer all the way down to the basement though. False biding his time, looking for a flank eventually.
I like this
back
though.
of your mind.
Laura was downstairs applying pressure towards janitors, and now they all know if we go into that room, we're gonna get tracked and we're gonna die. Laura was playing the mental game. He's left the downsize area, knowing that he's flankable, but he's still having that mental pressure of, oh my god, what if he did stick around? So now DC play much further back in the bomb, so playing inside a meeting, playing inside of the stock hallways, and not playing janitors whatsoever. The only issue is, for FURIA, they're at a bit of a standstill. They're not progressing the round. They find the sole roamer. It's going to be Fulch. It's going to be sprinting away. He's fine. DarkZero goes down with J90. And just like that, DC in full control, as FURIA are not making enough progress.
It's a lot more patience from DZ. We heard the advice from Call Out after the last time they lost this round. Don't sweat it. Don't overcomplicate things. Here comes the util sending on in. Herds, if he wins this gunfight against Kino unawares, it could be the round. The fire comes in as well. Herds somewhat blocked out by it, but he still marches his way forward. FURIA now need to get into the building, but there's time. They don't have to rush. Volps to force down this plant. Newest is getting to a better position. The flank from top square of Folds is being watched by Laura, but he's got the 1x scope. He needs to win this gunfight in the post plant. DZ need to try and retake, but Laura goes for the wider angle, finds the kill. It's J90, the only man who stands between FURIA and a 5-1 domination. The Brazilians are just 2 rounds away from a grand final here in Paris.
What did we say? DC needs that second round, and they did not find it. And with that, we're into the halftime roll check. Roll swap.
Vamos fazer essas coisas de conforto que a gente consegue ficar mais confortável para comunicar, para falar de um encontro, tá ligado? Vamos deixar a pressão para eles, fechou? O que eu acho que a gente faz no primeiro round? Eu acho que a gente pode fazer a safe, eu pensei em você fazer uma extra escondido, mano. Vai dar muito bom. Sabe por quê? Eles fazem sempre full server, com tipo, mó lentão, com Ing, Thatcher, tipo, a mó lentidão da...
Qual a safe? A double trap?
A safe double trap, né?
Double trap com ele de maestra. Eu acho que vai ser uma boa pra gente começar o jogo. Depois, guys, a gente pode ir pra área aberta. Vamos área aberta antes do show? Vamos área aberta horizontal, que a gente tá jogando bem pra porra nela.
Mano, a 4-1 é a nossa melhor.
Ó, a 4
By far.
Sim, faz de bunch e você faz de trap no bomb mesmo, porque eles gostam de foguetar o cara do bomb, tá ligado? Sim, na 4-1, faz de trap mesmo, porque eles gostam de foguetar o cara do bomb. Guys, eles têm o default do mapa, uma caçada default, uma caçada pra cima e uma play foguetando bomb, porque eles gostam de fazer glass no... jump no relógio, só que a gente vai banir...
Melhor de guarda, então? Just a note for like open area, CEO, or the low chance they go tellers, and you want to call something different, get the Zofia on the windows, they play a shit ton of castle. So like we can actually rip that shit open. With the multiple might be in, that'll be pretty easy to get, so like one Zof can pretty much clear everything.
Yeah. Going ball.
Oh, let's go. Let's get super stern right now.
Oh my god. And let's enjoy the moment. Let's just have some fun.
Just get a little bank attack, fellas. That's all it is. Nothing to it.
Nothing
Let's
to
do
it.
I'll tell you what, I think we do a Jasmine Jessica.
Oh my god.
Oh wow.
What is that? A Jasmine Jessica? Is that a strategy, a song? I have no idea what this is. I like that from Kino. Guys, let's enjoy the moment. Gonna go, just a bit of bank attacks. It's fine. It really is about setting expectations of guys. The pressure isn't on us. It's just another day of siege.
Yeah, but the stakes are pretty damn high. To survive at the Esports World Cup, they're going to need 5 rounds out of 6 here on the attacking side. 6 in a row to win it in regulation. The Esports World Cup is one of the biggest events in the Rainbow Six calendar.
Yeah.
And it's one that neither of these teams have ever added to their trophy cabinet. There's $750,000 for first place, a $2 million prize pool on the line. Less than half of first place goes to second place. And at the moment, these teams have only guaranteed top 4. There's a long road to another trophy for whichever of these teams has the gall, has the bravery to grasp it, to chase it.
Oh, he caught him rappelling in. That's a huge pick there from J90 actually. Finding a small gap. Did not realize that's how they found that pick.
Sometimes the slimmest of gaps, the tiniest of moments is what wins a round, what makes or breaks a tournament for a team, especially in a semi-final like we find ourselves in today.
Hold the phone. Maestro being picked in the first round without the Bravo ban. It's been Monty Glass from FURIA and a Warden Kaid, Mayan Kaid from DC.
But look at these prep phase drones here from DZ. Archives, main stairs, square, lobby. These are set up for the roam clear, not at all to get info on what the bomb site setup is like. If Volps doesn't go for any hatches, DZ aren't going to know that there's a Maestro on the board, and they might not bring enough counters for it.
I mean, right now, they technically have to, right? They can EMP them temporarily, and Sophia has 3 soft destroying charges currently, so that is going to be a good counter if you save them for the late round state.
There's also a bulletproof camera on Herds and a deployable shield on Diaz, which you'll need those explosives for.
He's also saved all 3 bubbles.
Wow, that's some tech.
Yeah. That's the thing about a lot of evil eyes nowadays. If you put them on any elevated position, you cannot melee them, especially if they look up, like straight up into the air. So it does leave very specific pieces of util as the counter. He did make a teeny tiny mistake, you can say, right? He might have survived the drone phase, but he stepped into dirt tunnels, put down the barbed wire, and was spotted. So they do know now that Maestro is on the board. They just don't know exactly where those bubbles or the Maestro evil eyes have been positioned. but I mean, look at DC's setup. Oh, sorry, FURIA's setup. It's all plant denials. Very late round Rainbow Six Siege. In fact, they have one sole player not in the basement bomb site.
And he's technically at blue stairs, which is more like an extension of the bomb site rather than a roam. Very unusual. FURIA love roaming. They love getting aggressive. This is a very passive setup, but a very deadly one with a lot of utils stacked in their favor. Thankfully, DZ have been extremely quick here. They don't have to worry about the Kaid. They open up all of these hatches very quickly, and now the rest of the round will be all about making sure they can counter every piece of setup on the bomb site.
I mean, this is scary because DC on paper are very good at picking apart these sort of strategies. FURIA wants them to just like burn down the time and whatnot, but actually, I'm not sure if that's the hatch pick or whatever, but DarkZero finds Newers on Capital. That's a huge loss to suffer this early on. On the other side, Volps kept that Evil Eye open up, so they didn't even need to use any gadgetry for it. They just shot it with the gun of Janano.
Yeah, and that other Evil Eye deeper into the bomb site won't actually prevent a long plant. It'll only prevent the shallow plant.
Lost in the hatch.
Indeed it was. Here comes though an opening pick here from Volps. The spam of util both directions here. The Sophia versus the Tachanka. The Thatcher as well is the perfect counter to these Evil Eyes. DZ try and bait up as much utility as possible. They have so much time on the clock. Kino likely to go for a backwards turtle plan at some point. NJR look to try and cover. Will DZ drop a body down from the hatch? Perhaps they will. Watching for the nitro cells. There are none to toss on over. Diaz, he's not denying this plan. Kino manages to confirm it. And DZ look to try and start strong on their attacking side. It's Volps and Diaz in a 2 versus 4. But Kino has the perfect position and his teammates are watching from on high. This post plan is undeniable. And Volps and Diaz have nothing to do for it. Nice kill on the J90, but surely that won't be enough. Kino, a bit of damage onto him. The fire, though, it will not be enough. As Volps finds both of the final 2 kills from the server hatch, and DZ find their energy back on the attacking side.
And that's without even having enough hard destruction for the default walls. They had to plant on the door itself. A little bit risky, but the fire missed from Tachanka. And I love the utility there from Sophia, opening up the red hallway wall and the locker wall. They could see from server all the way to vault, the other end of the building on that base and bomb side. So Tachanka, I think, under so much pressure, didn't have the safety to go for a proper lineup. And that changes the plant denial possibilities.
Yeah, wow. Sometimes all it takes is open up a line of sight and commit to a gunfight there. It restricts Tachanka. He doesn't have as much mobility, and that's probably part of the reason why he missed the fire. Also add to that, the fact that we did have the long wall breach meant that some of the fires from Tachanka actually went all the way through the breach, too deep to deny that plan.
It did. I did see that as well. Also, that was with losing Newers on Capital right before Execute. That could have been even more decisive from DarkZero.
Absolutely.
If that was fire on the ground, I mean, no one's going to push anywhere on that bomb side.
There's a lot of confidence in that halftime break there from Callout and the boys. Perhaps DZ have it very much warranted. 1-5 down on their defensive half is not a worry if they have that same kind of energy that FURIA had on their attack.
So as Callout said, just some bank attacks. It's a favorable side. It's all about the processes in the server. And FURIA, I think they might try and go for, like, you know, this round as well. Not gonna be as passive. They got trap operators, they got the clash on the board, but I could imagine that they're gonna fall back sooner rather than later. And if that doesn't work twice in a row, it's gonna be FURIA probably gonna turn up the aggression to 110% and say, guys, DC are picking us apart, but we're gonna fight back with the guns. So I want to watch for it here when and if FURIA are going to be falling back towards the bomb side, or if they've already made that call to switch it up.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, there's a bit of a fight from the blue stairs, an aggressive peek. It's Foltz who goes down, one of the best operators to take out, being the Thatcher. That's a lot of the counter too. Well, actually, funnily enough, in this lineup, not as much utility as you would have thought. The main counter here for the Thatcher is to force that clash back and to get rid of that nitro cell. Actually, yeah,
you could EMP the Warden and just yink till the staircase, and now it's a freebie, but all of a sudden, you cannot go for your usual attacking take.
Fair point.
So this could be a plan B for DC.
Yeah, and there are no frags or anything else to try and force back that.
No shield.
Warden, yeah, no shield player as well, which means that they will need to try and take that fight. The Candela will ring on out. DarkZero doesn't care about it. He's got the glasses. He can ring on out. By this time, it'll have to be a double peek here from DZ. Someone will need to drop the hash, or they will just pull one back. Yeah, it's a complete flip here for DZ.
But what are they flipping to? I mean, I thought they were going to just hot sit it down the hatch, maybe try and catch them by surprise. But again, 4v5, and no clash also on the board somewhere in the bomb site itself. It feels like they can't find the opening, they can't create the opening. They need to have somebody individually step up, and it could be Newers trying to attack Garage, maybe.
Can't afford to make any mistakes on your attacking side when you only win a single round on your defense. So DZ look to make their way forward. It's a split push. Newers moving in from Garage, but Herds finds a first kill. With that, he buys a little bit of information as well on the main stairs. DZ fighting 2 players in deficit. Newers needs to have a big impact, but they're suspicious, and they found him! Kano and J9O are the last 2 left now for DZ to try and prevent FURIA from getting 4 match points on the verge of elimination. DZ have nothing to say. Flawless are FURIA. 1 more round and they knock the major champions from the tournament.
All FURIA they need is 1 particular kill in a round. The most important util operator is Stature. You cannot take down the Warden comfortably. There was no shield, there was no EMP, the Ying is ineffective, there's just no win condition, as we love to say in Rainbow Six Siege. So it comes down to a staircase fight 50-50, a garage fight 50-50, and Kino white swing and hoping that the enemy will be looking the wrong direction. But they were watching the walk-in from the elevator door. He too gets shot down. That is the problem, in quotation marks, with utility attacking rounds. If the wrong player dies in the wrong location, the wrong time, you cannot commit to the plan. And that is the strength and weakness of FURIA and how they approach these rounds, because they like to brute force it. It's not always clean, it's not always super calculated, but it means even if someone dies and takes that risky decision, it's not the end of the round for them. But 6-2 score on the bank here, not the scoreline I expected before we started this map.
That's the thing. That's the advantage of starting on the attacking side. Obviously, it's no brainer. You want to start on the favorable side, but what does that mean? Actually, round by round, it means that you have the ability, the luxury of taking more risks. Right now, DZ cannot afford to take risks. You lose 1 kill, like you said, FURIA find 1 pick, and that could be GG. But you have to take risks on the attacking side, otherwise you become too predictable.
Yes.
Otherwise the defense will dictate the pace of these rounds. It's going to be 4 in a row here for DZ, otherwise it's the end of the line.
It's also why when you have an operator like a Solid Snake or a Deimos, you are now the entry player. You're built to go for kills. Look at the current attacker lineup. Right now, everyone is so valuable. Once Newers will spend his primary gadget, now he's a gun for hire. Once NDR is done using summer charges, now he becomes the entry. But in the beginning of the round, to get that first pick, everyone is playing very passive. No one can afford to die, especially players like your Fultz, like your Kino, the Grim Capital. They need that for the bomb site, for late round execute. DC have done a great job here getting top floor control. FURIA have surrendered the space, they're falling back. They're playing open area. They're playing archives and tellers. They're playing inside the elevator on the main staircase.
And it's been an uncharacteristically passive FURIA here in these defensive rounds. Happy to just slowly peel back the layers, force DZ into an execute. Do not give them any kills for free.
Like I said, it all comes down to that first fight. With DC progressing, Newers is almost there to become that entry. His scoreline is 2-8, but he is so capable. We saw that on the second map when DC won 7-1 on Nighthaven. Now goes the last Boogie drone. So Newers, it's time to activate. It's time to get in the action. I think Inja might have heard that hash drop and he also knows about the elevator player. DC, 1 minute and 15 seconds to go with all the pressure on their side.
And they need this opening pick so desperately. FURIA has been dominating in the early game. They've had 6 of the opening picks in these 8 rounds. It's been thanks to Herds mostly, and DarkZero as well, 5 between the 2 of them. J9O knows exactly where DarkZero lies in wait, but finds the kill! There's the opening for DZ!
That's what they needed. EMP comes out, reaching towards that side wall, but look at Volps looking for a flank. If he finds the kill upstairs, he does.
Oh my god! There's no one watching that drone. Volps has found 1, now Newers has to go hunting. He says, where has he gone? Can I focus up on the bomb site? It might be a desperate time to drop, but Loira finds the double kill. Even though J9O shuts down the flank, he'll find a second triple in the round, but he needs to get that diffuser back again. Newers sneaking inside. If he can find Loira, then it might be winnable.
He heard him.
Diaz in the 1v2 as Newers tries to dodge around. J9O has the angle from the other side, but Newers just needs this last lick of damage. They will swing together, and J9O puts up a 4K to keep DZ alive.
So many small moments that could go completely wrong for DC. Loira gets that double kill. It stops the entire push from bottom square. So it becomes Newers proning into the small box, looking for a kill. General holding on to lobby, getting the first opening pick, the second and the third, all across main stairs. Operator bans. I don't know if there's like a sole operator that fixes the struggles for DC. There's a lot against him. The smoke is very good. The DMR is very good. The Asami is very good. What do you get rid of right now? It's gonna be the Asami. It plays into every single bomb site. So it affects the majority of the map. And when you're down 3 to 6, you need to go flawless. So getting rid of an operator that gets played every round, it makes sense.
And there are very few operators that have an impact on the unusual bomb sites, on the weaker bomb sites of Bank than the Asami. Right? They have already talked about in the halftime role swap, they're happy to play against that castle. They have a plan with the Zofia for that. You could ban something that's really powerful on a basement defense like a Tachanka or a Smoke, but there's no point because you know, even if FURIA win, they have to go onto this top floor, right? DZ need to chain these rounds together. The problem is for DZ, even after they win this next round, they will have to attack a basement bomb site for FURIA once again.
Again, it doesn't get any easier. I am curious from DC's perspective if they're gonna stay with the utility game or get Neuros on a Solid Snake or a Deimos, or in this case an Ash for the mirror windows.
Yeah, you need something for those mirrors.
We need someone, again, to be the difference maker and get those kills. There's his final second, gets on the Snake. I love this from him because he's been a bit quiet here in Bank, and it's all about the opening picks. Once FURIA, they feel the pressure of, oh my god, our strat is falling apart, they're gonna get desperate. Then they're gonna start forcing gunfights. That's when you hold the angles with the DMRs. But you need to get to that state first by getting that pick.
Yeah, the DMRs are so powerful on this specific bomb site, especially with that Hibana to try and breach open that Kanto wall. FURIA decided not to go for ranged hard breach bans here today. So NJR should be able to cut open that hallway. There's a bulletproof very nicely placed inside of Janders that does watch the default. It's fine. The Bandit can be countered by the Kali unless if Diaz is ready to juggle it, which he is in fact. He should be able to juggle these Hibana pellets. Oh, but the bait comes out from Faults on another angle, and he finds a free kill. The opening pick for DZ.
Yeah. Successful. Again, baiting in that opening pick, but with strategy, with a pure counter. And now it also gives less pressure onto Neuros to become that entry fragger on the Solid Snake. He can actually play more of a useful role, be in the window repel, get the scan out, see where the enemies are playing from, and then share the info to the Capital, to the Ying, try and set up another safe way of getting a kill. The mirror window, next problem. Gotta get maybe a Smoke Kit or a Cadilla in there, get the X-Kairos or get the Kali Lances. Still 3 in pocket from J9O. Step by step here for DC.
Problem is, there's so much util here to burn through. And with the castle barricades, there's no Zofia picks this time from DZ, as was mentioned in the halftime. And Kali's having to use her lance to destroy that barbed wire on the main banana stairs. DarkZero just sit back. No DMR here, by the way, for FURIA, so they will be at a disadvantage in the gunfights. Here comes a great way for the fire to come out from Faults. However, a second mirror window hidden in the pocket for Volps. He is not safe. He will have to drop down below, but he survives just barely to fight another day, but Newers sneaking up the main stairs. This could be it for DZ to look for the plant. However, Volps is in position. Plant denied! DZ, what's your plan B? When you're shut out of the bomb site, can you go hunting? Can you find Volps down below?
The fire cuts off 2 attackers for 20 seconds. Had to go for a flip, go for a rotate. Volps still creeping downstairs. Could find an attacker sprinting into his arms. That might just be the round. He's looking the wrong way, though. He does not know about Newers.
Should get caught off guard here. This should be a free kill, indeed. Volps will go down. Advantage in theory for DZ, but that diffuser still remains on the bomb site.
Finding not possible. No smoke grenades, no fire. Has to go for kills for DC. This is everything.
It's go big or go broke here at EWC for DZ. As they need to find these final FURIA players. Herds on the floor. What's the impact J9O can have? He spots out that player inside of the elevator. It's just DarkZero left. He's the last one standing, but the plant can go down. Herds has a little bit of information as he's trailing on the bomb site. He can try and give info to DarkZero for the retake, but this 1v3 would be a miracle for the young gun. Little bit of damage, not as of yet. Newers and J9O, both low HP. DZ just need to survive to hold on for a few more rounds. 1 more on the board, 2 more, and we'll see overtime.
it doesn't get much closer than that. Mind you, had the Capital Fire done a single tick more of damage, Wolves would have just died. It's gonna be attack timeout, I guess, from FURIA, because I hear their voices.
Setups bom debaixo da win server. É melhor pra fazer, tá ligado? Sem medo. Você passou todos os bonecos pra isso.
Sem exame?
Eu acho que você faz de... Sem exame, foda-se. Eu acho que você faz de smoke ao invés de fazer de warden, tá ligado? Porque senão ele vai desabilitar você no meio da escada e vai te matar. Guys, só faz a win server, não tem problema. Eles não sabem lidar com isso. Você pode jogar de Arune se quiser, que você viu que a Twitch preparou a server garagem. Bota o bico nela, não deixa ela jogar, tá ligado? O que eles podem fazer, guys, é que eles splitar costas. Mano, um pouquinho de paciência. Vocês estão passando o carro desesperado um pro outro, guys. Na hora do exec, eles aceleram um pouco, deixa a gente pegar o gatilho do que eles vão fazer e vamos se organizar um pouquinho.
Fechou, se der errado, vamos fazer o aberto 4-1.
4-1, exatamente, perfeito.
Bora, guys. Bora, caralho. Bora, guys.
O jogo tá pra gente, mano.
Bora. Get the energy up there. I heard server and blue being mentioned. Within all of that chaos, the comms, of course, all over the place because we don't understand what they're saying, but usually when we get the translations, it's very accurate on the point there from Redog, the former player himself. He knows what his players are up against. He knows what it's like in the server.
And he does. FURIA are up 5-1, up 6-2. So many match points in their favor, but DZ, credit to them, they picked this apart. A great count-up for the Bandit Juggle with faults on that narrow angle, but the Nitro Cell almost meant the end of the line for DZ. The fact that Volps was able to escape despite that Capital Fire gave FURIA a chance. It wasn't enough, but the problems aren't gone. DZ are not out of the woods as of yet, Pengu, and you know why? They got to go back down and attack this basement again. It's unlocked again for FURIA.
This is where things get the most scary. There are so many ways to lose this on the attacking side, like we saw before. Losing the Thatcher early, now you can't deal with the ward on server stairs. That's a problem. Don't bring enough hard breach, so somebody dies at hard breach in pocket, can't breach all the hatches. Don't find the roam because he's hiding somewhere, well, you get flanked. You have to be perfect on so many areas of the game. In the beginning, locking down the staircases, clearing the whole map, constantly watching the flanks because it could be reattempted, and also break apart the side setup. They have a drone in server, they see DarkZero's location, but they can't do much about it. If Newer see him walk away, he will take Zero for free. But Zero's been very smart at having a very good instinct here on the location of Newer's. Hurts falls elsewhere though.
Wow, upstairs on the top floor. Discovered early on for the top fragger of FURIA. That is a very troublesome blow. In a 5v5, I would say this basement still favors defenders, despite Bank overall favoring the attackers. Certainly not in a 4v5, however, for FURIA.
Oh, again, all about Newer's and Kino working together. They can bait for each other. If he takes the fight above, Kino goes in below and vice versa.
He always wants to make his moment.
EMP is ready.
Move on inside. The EMP comes out. DarkZero.
There it is.
We'll have the information. No, he's blinded now by the Candela. In comes a shotgun here from Kino, but the clash might just save his life.
Where's Newer's?
Oh, DarkZero! Where was the flank here from Newer's? He's being held at bay by Diaz on the defense. It's a perfect counter from FURIA. That clash coming in to save the day.
They rotated. Two players, one towards the tunnel, one towards the door, and DC are falling apart.
Say goodbye to the numbers advantage after that pick onto Herds. They have been outplayed. DZ, who always have an answer, who always have a response.
What a rotate, what a read there from FURIA. Having the right foresight. The fire is finally gone from the server staircase. Then they're going to try and go for it again.
However, the smoke will keep them guessing for a brief moment. Opens up the hatch now, finally. From NJR, but the engagements will come through regardless. Loira will fall. Volps, a little bit exposed, needs to try and fall on back safely. However, the hatch inside the bomb site is still open, which means Faults will prevent his retreats. There is no option here to fall back for DarkZero and Volps. They are trapped here inside of server. They will have to fight for their lives! DarkZero! 10 kills for the young gun as he tries to make his way back inside. DZ, they were the last hope for Rene, but even for a major champion, nothing is granted. You can close your eyes, but you cannot block out the drums. Another grand final calls for FURIA.
The final thing that DC will hear